Dang it.
You die?
Yeah, I died. Did you die?
No. I've been trying to make this one jump, like, repeatedly, and I keep on, like, dashing off the edge. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, we gotta start.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
I love it when we collectively play a single-player game next to each other.
That used to be a thing in my household. We all had Game Boy Advances, because my parents wouldn't let us have, like, console video games. So we were all handheld players.
That's so weird.
So, like, Sam would be playing Legend of Zelda, I'd be playing Metroid Fusion, and, we'd all be, like, just in the same room. It was before, like, a cell phone thing, and my parents already hated it,
Mm-hmm.
So what's today's starting topic? Is it going to be more Silksong?
No, I think we're gonna shelve Silksong to the next bit of the episode. We are gonna talk about it.
In that case, do you want to hear about this Nintendo Direct I just watched that just came out an hour before we started recording?
I do. I also would like to point out that we have some other stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I do want to. I want to finally bring up one of my favorite online personalities at the moment.
Ooh.
That what they're doing recently, that you might find somewhat interesting.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of notes. I also plan to spoil some bits of Silksong, but only within like a certain area.
That's fair.
I think we're probably going to start off not spoiler, then I'll have a time code.
That's a good idea.
You can skip.
You spoiling it for me specifically, or what now?
Well, I don't have to spoil it for you if you don't want me to, but
That's
I usually
whatever.
don't care.
It depends. Like, I am realizing that I can go into Hollow Knight pretty blind because I managed to not get bombarded by the algorithm.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's because, like, I did the thing you're supposed to do and just not actually pay any attention to any Silksong news, and then the algorithm didn't give me any Silksong news.
Yeah, that's what I did.
But, yeah, like, going into this, like, because I just started playing. I know it's not our starting topic, but I do want to say I just finally started playing Silksong, and, like, it is immediately enthralling.
Yeah.
Like, it sucked me in.
I can also tell you some criticisms I have.
Ooh. Okay.
And I can talk about our number 2 fan, Eric. He had some points.
Can we not call him that?
Our number 2?
Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm axing that right now.
Oh,
we're not
okay.
calling Eric our number 2.
So we can't call Alex our number 1 fan either?
No, we can't do that.
All right. All our fans are equal in our eyes.
Yeah, this is
Do you believe me?
All right.
I should say our friends. I shouldn't say our fans.
So, in this episode, Ryan talks about some of his favorite online creators.
Yep.
We talk about Silksong even more, and I talk about the new Nintendo Direct, which you did not watch at all, so you do not know any of the announcements.
I did look at it right before you came to see how long it was going to be, if I could figure that out. And
it was over an hour, which is the longest Nintendo Direct they've done in a very, very long time.
I see. So that's why you didn't really think much of it when you were like, I'll be watch this then there, because you were
no, I did think about it. That's why I was like, I'm gonna be late.
Okay, well,
that's
I knew
why
you were
I
going to be
texted you
late.
ahead of time. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this Nintendo Direct, and I'm going to be late because of it.
Well, I didn't expect it to be like an hour though.
Yeah, well, I was afraid that it was going to be that long. I'm like, because I kept on saying, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a really long one. This is gonna be a big Direct. They're gonna announce like a whole bunch of shit, and they did. It was a very good Direct.
Also, very quick minor note. We're on Spotify. You can check us out on Spotify, subscribe, all that stuff, YouTube crap. Thank you. Continue.
Yeah, click the bell. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Do
So-
the RKO on the like button.
Nintendo Directs, they usually have, a handful of really big announcements that are exciting to everybody. A handful of announcements
Bonanza.
they'll have like one announcement that'll break the goddamn internet.
Probably Bonanza.
They will
in that
have
context.
some announcements that are intensely exciting for, certain groups of fans.
Like one, they'll have one racing game that everyone's super into right now.
And then they will have a montage, like a sizzle reel montage of like farming simulators that I'm sure somebody is excited about.
Our friend Nathan, yeah.
Does he play like multiple farming simulators?
I don't know. Every time one comes up, he's like, I'm so excited for that. I'm like, how the fuck could you possibly be excited for that?
So, like, I don't want to diss farming simulators as a genre because like, I am a big proponent of more games that appeal to more casual gamers, young children, and women specifically. Sure. But I can't imagine, like, it just feels oversaturated. Like, all these games, they take a lot of time. So, like, how are you playing all of them? How are you playing any one besides Stardew Valley?
I found one besides Stardew Valley that I have things I like about it, but, like, there's also things I don't like about it. It's called Sun Harvest, I think.
Okay.
The major differences are that you can choose your like fantasy race,
Love that.
so you can do a lot of different stuff there. And then you have spells that can help you with the farming along the way. Because now you can be like, I'm gonna cast a rain cloud so that you can just do a whole area of your farm.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, like,
I liked the original. Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo a lot, and obviously I like Animal Crossing, which isn't a farming simulator, but it's that same kind of like casual lifestyle game that honestly takes a lot of time. You know, like you're meant to invest lots and lots of time into these games, like hours on end, which is something that I don't have time for anymore. You know. So the big announcements.
One more, Doom 2016.
What?
Doom 2016 had a system where you could make your own like game. Basically, they had
they had a level editor.
They did.
That was something that should have been more exciting than it was.
And one of the things that came with it by default was a farming sim.
That's very funny. When Doom Eternal launched, it launched on the same exact day as Animal Crossing
New Horizons.
New Horizons. And it got a kind of Barbenheimer treatment where lots of people were praising both games. Like, I remember putting a bunch of, like, Doom stuff in my Animal Crossing game. Like, I made a Doom shirt.
If you go onto the internet, you can find a million different things where Isabelle from Animal Crossing and the Doom Slayer are, like, hanging out.
Love it.
They get married, I think.
So, okay. When this was originally announced, well, this was leaked. They said there was going to be a mid-September Direct, and then it was going to focus on Metroid.
Okay, interesting.
That was what the leak was, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Metroid is the game that most people are thinking about, and when the actual Nintendo Direct was announced, I feel like Metroid fans, Nintendo fans, and just people who pay attention to the games industry and new announcements and stuff, all thought this was going to be a Metroid Direct.
Right.
They thought this was going to be focused on Metroid.
I have a feeling based off of your cadence and attitude, it's not that.
When it was announced to be an hour long and they didn't mention Metroid at all, that's when I started getting concerns. Usually the biggest announcements are saved for either the first announcement of the Direct or the very, very final announcement of the Direct, or maybe the penultimate one, which I think is the new thing they're doing in order to make the final announcement have less weight. I think a lot of people were assuming that the Metroid Prime 4 release date was going to be either first trailer or last trailer. I would have thought first trailer because last trailer tends to carry the most weight.
Yeah.
And I don't think that many people are excited for Metroid Prime 4, but I do think Metroid Prime 4 is like a big deal, so I think first trailer, that makes sense.
Sure.
It was not that. It was not the last trailer. It was not the first trailer. There was a Metroid Prime 4 trailer, but it was square in the middle of it, and there is an official release date and some other things, but we'll get to it.
Okay. What was the first one then? Let's go with that.
Well, the first one was actually a bunch of Mario announcements because it's Mario's 40th anniversary. They're going to be opening up another theme park in Orlando, Florida or something like that.
Great.
Nintendo is officially transitioning into Disney in the most terrifying way possible.
Yeah.
So the biggest announcement, the very first announcement was the Mario Galaxy 2 movie. Mario Galaxy movie. The Mario 2 movie, it's going to be a Mario Galaxy movie.
That is the least interesting thing you've said to me in a long time.
Yep, and they spent a lot of fucking time saying that they're going to be releasing Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch Online app. So you can play that. Oh, am I too quiet? I'm sorry.
It's more so that your mic's out of the way.
Yeah, I don't care at all.
I even liked the Mario movie overall. Like, it was a fine movie, or fine kids movie, or whatever. But
I thought as well. I thought I would have loved it when I was a kid, I think, because it really did the Mario stuff pretty well.
Yeah, when I was a kid, sure.
I think Luigi was great.
Yep.
I think Mario was fine.
Well, actually, I think
Donkey Kong was fine.
I think we all thought that Chris Pratt was going to fuck up Mario's voice,
And
but
he didn't.
I would argue that Charlie Day fucked up Luigi's voice by doing just Charlie Day's voice.
Fair, but I don't know. I feel like he captured the energy and personality kind of perfectly, even if it was too recognizably Charlie Day.
He basically just is Luigi in real life, or at least in Always Sunny. So it kind of makes sense that he would match that.
The thing that I couldn't stop thinking about from this trailer onward was Nintendo trying its hardest to make up all for its past mistakes of just neglecting female customers.
Okay.
Because Nintendo very, very, very purposely advertised specifically to boys for a long time.
Yeah.
If you remember when Mario Galaxy came out, that was when Rosalina started getting shoved into every Mario side project. It was like suddenly she's like the most popular character of all time. And it's like, well, no, she is this balance of female character, marketable, kind of like not too edgy, but just enough to have personality that it appeals to multiple people. And like more and more and more, I'm seeing like Nintendo go out of its way to address that problem. Like Pauline in the Donkey Kong Bonanza thing.
Yeah.
They announced a new Mario Tennis right after the Mario Galaxy stuff. And the campaign.
Exciting.
Well, I liked the last Mario Tennis a lot. It made a lot of changes to the multiplayer, so it was almost more like a fighting game than a traditional tennis game. Like, very depth. It also had a campaign mode, and in this, the campaign mode, everyone gets turned into babies, so you're going to play as Mario as a baby playing tennis for some reason.
Cool.
And I'm like, is this just to make the babies more prominent because the babies are popular with, female players?
I have no opinion on that. I don't have anything to say. It's like, okay.
That's kind of what I wanted you to, watch a little bit of the direct so we could actually talk about stuff.
I didn't have time. I was driving here and getting set up here. What do you mean?
Okay.
I didn't know it started an hour prior.
There was also a new Yoshi game announced. It looks neat. It's got a storybook style art style. That's Yoshi's new gimmick. Like, from now on, their thing is we make games that have artsy art styles.
Yeah, every time. If it's Yoshi, he's going to have a unique art style, kind of.
I don't know. Most people, they love Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, so much. And they've been wanting more of that. And they just keep on making it more and more casual.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, the major announcement. This is the one that excites Ben specifically, not necessarily everyone. This is not your internet-breaking announcement, but the one that made me geek the fuck out was Dragon Quest VII Reimagined.
Oh!
You do not know. You do not care. But Dragon Quest VII is an insane fucking game.
Okay.
How much do you know about Dragon Quest?
Well, you've told me.
I don't think I've told you anything about Dragon Quest.
I don't think that's true. I can't remember. But
I don't spend a lot of time talking about Dragon Quest. I'm not like a massive Dragon Quest fan. I haven't played most of the Dragon Quest games. I've played like some of them.
I mean, okay, actually that isn't true inherently. We've definitely talked about it because I know I've told you before that I actually played and really enjoyed Dragon Quest Builders.
Mm-hmm.
So I've played a little bit of the first one. I played a lot of the second one. I didn't beat it either one, I have them on Steam. I'm going to play them at some point and go through them again. Besides that, like, what I know of Dragon Quest, like, legitimately is just, like, this is the basis for every fantasy anime in the world.
Yeah.
So there's a hero, there's a demon lord. It's pretty basic.
It's one of the most influential video game series of all time.
Without question, yeah.
And for me, loving video game history, it's one of the most interesting, like, series from a historical perspective. But there have been so many, like, massive, like, innovations throughout the series that have like spread out to the rest of the game industry, like catching monsters.
I was
going to
ask about that because they started it. It wasn't actually Nintendo and Game Freak. It was them, right?
It was I believe it was Dragon Quest 4 or 5. I think 5 that introduced monster catching mechanics. And Dragon Quest 3 is the thing that introduced like class swapping and like character job systems and like that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like all of these games are solid. All of them are really fun. Yuji Horii, the main writer, is so good at writing Dragon Quest style games, like writing for this style of game.
Like, I know that like the Dragon Quest Builders is the best experience I can pull from, and that game was very like basic and silly.
Mm-hmm.
But like it worked. It wasn't trying to do anything different. It wasn't trying to be anything special. It just did exactly what it needed to do for Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Dragon Quest is really, really good at just, like, hitting all those correct beats. It's like, this is as traditional a JRPG as you can get, but at the same time, it is so good, and everybody likes it. Like, I loved Dragon Quest 11 from what I played. I didn't beat it because that game is long as shit, because JRPGs are way too long, but I did love everything I played.
You didn't kill God with your friends?
I did not kill God. I got as far as the little girls' school. That okay, kind of a weird part but I did drop off at that point, so maybe that was why.
I don't know what that means.
There's like a school. It was like a girls' school that you go to. I don't know why. It's just the next landmark as you travel across the map, and like the quest involves like solving a mystery there or something like that. I don't know.
Is it the classic where you have to dress up and...
You don't have to do anything like that, no.
Is it like Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
VII or
setting.
whatever? Like, you do not like interact that much with like the characters in it.
Did Dragon Quest pioneer trans rights?
No, it's never done anything. Well, actually, No, not that I think. I can't think of anything. I don't know enough about Dragon Quest to be able to answer that. They've got some great gay characters. Dragon Quest VII, though, is specifically interesting. It's a very, very weird game. It's a very, very weird Dragon Quest game.
What is that?
First PlayStation, still using sprites, but combination with 3D graphics. So they've got like a 3D world map with sprites on it, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics.
I was thinking of the Cat Quest games.
And just an bizarrely experimental design. Dragon Quest VII is the one that a lot of fans don't care for, but a group of fans are intensely passionate about.
Gotcha.
Because of its weirdness and eccentricities.
Is there any like specific weirdness you can kind of verbally express?
Yeah, like so you know how like a JRPG plays out. You set out from the town, you do those random encounters and stuff like that.
You do the random encounters, you get to the next town, you build up, and the next.
So there is not a combat encounter for like the first 4 hours of gameplay.
Interesting. Is
like
it
nothing?
Is there combat at all?
Yeah, it turns into a traditional Dragon Quest, but there is so much time spent in the beginning just like going around towns, talking to NPCs, soaking in the world, learning the story. It is really weird. It takes place on like this island, and like the rest of the world, they don't think that the rest of the world exists. They're just like on this isolated island, and you're like magically like recovering the rest of the world, like you're rebuilding it from scratch or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't get into it. Like Sam, there was a period of time when my brother Sam got really excited, and he's like, "I'm gonna get into Dragon Quest VII. I've been reading about Dragon Quest VII, how fucking amazing of a game it is," and he was trying to sell me on it. He was like, he kept on telling me about the one character who's like, he's like a paladin who was transformed into stone by God in order to preserve him for when the world was in crisis. He was gonna be like revived.
Classic.
And he's like an 80-year-old man.
That's a great little twist.
So you like one of your party members is just this old ass dude with this big Frank Zappa mustache.
He's like, hell, get him, Sonny.
I don't know. I'm excited. This remake is gorgeous looking. It's got like it's doing the it's not doing the 2D 3D thing because the characters are 3D models, but it's got that Akira Toriyama art style translated into 3D that they've gotten really good at in the last few years.
Like Dragon Ball, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my immediate thought is, so I don't know where I'm kind of going with it. I'm kind of going off topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just triggered a thing I really want to happen, which is Akira Toriyama did a manga called Kawa, which is about a bunch of little monster children who live in a little monster town.
I want to see this so bad.
It's so great, and they have to go on an adventure to get medicine for their mom, and the only human they know, who's like some merchant who comes by every once in a while, they go on an adventure with him.
This sounds delightful.
It is delightful, and I really want them to make that into something. I don't know, it doesn't have to be a game, but like a show. They did it with his other like offshoot that nobody gives a shit about but me, which is Sandland.
Did you play that?
I did not play the game, but I read the manga and I watched a bit of the show. The show's not as good.
See, it's weird. Anytime I see Akira Toriyama, because I don't feel like I'm a massive Akira Toriyama fan.
I'm
definitely love him. But if I see his art style in a video game, I immediately get excited.
Sandland looks cool as hell.
Yeah, I've paid a lot of attention to Sandland just because it's Akira Toriyama related. Same thing with Blue Dragon. Do you remember Blue Dragon?
Vaguely.
I didn't get super into Blue Dragon, but I paid attention to it because that art style, and also because it had a lot of people who worked on Chrono Trigger.
Sure.
Like it was we're trying really, really hard to bank on a Chrono Trigger to sell this game.
But yeah, man, that's the thing that I immediately thought when you mentioned the name. I want to see Kawa. I think it's Kawa. It's really weird to be spelled. It's a really weird thing. But I really want to see that into an anime. And Sandland's also cool. I haven't played it, but the tank combat looks so dope.
Yeah, I've heard that the customizing the tank combat's like the best part of that game.
Yeah, but you were Dragon Quest VII. I am, based off of your description, I'm kind of interested. I do hate JRPGs.
Okay, if you're going to try to get into Dragon Quest, don't do it with Dragon Quest VII. Just don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to Dragon Quest.
Okay.
Don't do it. It's too weird. It's too experimental.
What if it's the one
different.
I like the most?
I mean, try it, but like, I would say just play Dragon Quest III. It has aged incredibly well.
Okay.
It is still ridiculously fun, which is why it continually gets remade all the time. Like the last big remake, I believe both Sam and Mike got and played a bunch.
Was that the last Dragon Quest game Mike was talking about was the
The
one.
Dragon Quest Monsters, I
Yes,
believe.
it was the Monsters one. He got really into that for a while.
Well, he loves Dragon Quest 3 specifically.
He loves the monster catching and stuff in those games,
Mm-hmm.
as I understand it. They never experienced them on any real level, so I don't know.
So, the second bugfuck, this blows my mind announcement, like, this is personally exciting to me and not necessarily everybody else, was their new announcement for Nintendo Switch Online games.
Okay.
So, old games that are becoming available for people to play. I will give you one guess as to what, they could have announced that would freak me the fuck out.
So what we're specifically talking about, like the Nintendo games.
Yeah, retro Nintendo games that are now going to be available on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so
You're not going to guess it.
no. Well, my immediate thought was going toward Tears of Mana.
Oh, that would have been
Trials
cool,
of Mana.
But those aren't Nintendo. That's Square.
Okay. Well, that was my immediate thought. I would like to try though. It's definitely not going to be Falcon. That'd be too easy. It's not going to be Kid Icarus because Kid Icarus is kind of fucking lame.
It's also already available.
I wouldn't know that. I don't have a Switch anymore.
There's only two. Well, never mind. Just keep guessing.
It's almost certainly a game I don't know. Then, if that's were the case, I'm gonna say
You know this, but the announcement is too insane for you to actually be able to wrap your head around.
I know the game. Do I know it from Smash specifically?
No.
Okay, but I do know it. Okay, well it can't be.
It's cheating because it's not a single game. It's going to be a line of games.
Could it be Star Fox?
Nope. They already have a bunch of Star Fox games on there. We got Star Fox. They actually have Star Fox 2 on Nintendo Switch Online, which was a big one because that game never got released in England, or sorry, not England, in English or Japanese. And Star Fox 2 is really good. Like,
All right.
Alex is a Star Fox fan. He loves Star Fox 64. He loves Star Fox for the DS. He played Star Fox 2, and he said it was actually his favorite one, which is insane.
I know a lot of. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about Star Fox.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you here because I don't want to waste too much time on this.
I can't think.
You're
of
not
anything
gonna be able
else.
to guess it.
No, I get.
The Virtual Boy lineup. They are re-releasing the games for the Nintendo Virtual Boy, Nintendo's biggest flop system.
The one with the red?
Yeah. They are going to release an accessory that allows, it's like a little stand that looks like the Virtual Boy that you can plug your Switch into and use the stereoscopic 3D thing that they had for the Nintendo Labo. And you're going to be able to play classic Virtual Boy games, including Super Jack Bros, Wario Land Virtual Boy, Teleroxo Boxing, fucking that one weird Cthulhu, like first-person shooter survival horror game. Like, there's going to be 14, like, I can't remember if there's, like, how many games came out for the Virtual Boy? Like 17, I think?
Like, I don't know.
But 14 titles are going to be coming to Nintendo Switch Online, and people are going to be able to play Virtual Boy games for basically the first time ever.
Why?
I don't know, but I love it. I'm so fucking happy. I can't believe they've done this, and I don't care if it's successful or not.
I think. Okay, so we're on different spectrums right now because I am angry.
Why are you angry?
Because my thought is, if you're going to remake the Virtual Boy games, do it with a VR system.
Instead of the stereoscopic 3D?
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't translate at all. These are very, very simple, rudimentary 3D games.
Well, I don't. Well, one. Okay, this part of the thing is that no matter what, I can't play these because of my eye problems.
Oh, that's a good point.
So for me, I'm immediately like, well, whatever, good for everybody else. But like at the same time, it's like I don't.
So wait, could you not play 3DS games?
I couldn't play them. The 3D didn't really do anything.
Well, could you see the 3D, or did it
No.
give you like huge
It
strain?
just blurred. Yeah, I can't actually see like 3D on screens or anything. I have theorized. I don't know how legitimate this makes any. If this is a thing that is even remotely possible, but I don't know if I can see 3D in real life. I don't know if I just see everything in 2D and don't even recognize the difference between 3D and 2D because I can't see it.
Well, I mean, if you have depth perception, you can see in 3 dimensions. If you're able to tell that things
the thing
are getting
is,
farther.
I have very bad depth perception. Like I don't know how bad exactly.
Not bad enough that they would not give you a driver's license.
I guess
That's a big thing.
I don't know. I don't, but I've never really thought about it. I have no idea what it means to see in 3D, and I've never been able at any point to see in 3D like on a screen.
I am personally hoping that they will have a non-3D mode to be able to play, because I don't want to play any of these games looking into that headset if I can help it. I just want to play this new Wario Land. This classic Wario Land game. Because it's
Also,
really good.
The other thing is, like, why would you do it the way the Virtual Boy did with the fucking stand when you could attach it to your head now?
Because they know that they can sell. Oh, like, I should point out, like, another part of the announcement is that they're doing, like, a Nintendo museum, and they're having, like, all of the original, like, concept art and stuff. Like, Nintendo knows they can sell nostalgia.
Yeah,
they can
but
just sell their own history to
just
people over
choose
and over
not
again.
to.
They could choose not to, but, like, that's the thing. I know this isn't going to be, like, a major thing. They're probably not going to make a ton of money on the Virtual Boy stand. But, like, as terms of games preservation, this is a huge deal for me. This is the first time any of these games have ever been commercially available since their original release. And some of these games never got released, ever.
Yeah, I suppose. That's a fair point. Games preservation is important, in my opinion. I think that it would be nice if we could do it more, and if it was, like, I don't know, kind of regulated to some degree, but...
All right, so let's see. I wrote down Overcooked 2, Power Wash 2, Suika World, because those are all sequels that I feel like people would care about.
Wait, Suika? Like the phone game?
One with the watermelon, the fruit.
What the fuck is a sequel to that?
So now it's a multiplayer. You drop them on. There's like a circle, and your character rotates around the circle, so you can do it from any 360 direction. That's why it's called Suika World, because it's kind of like in space.
Eh.
And like multiple people can all drop into the same bucket at the same time.
This does not appeal to me. I even like Suika game. I got it on the phone.
It looked fun to me. I'm like, this looks fun. Power Wash Simulator 2 looks fun. Overcooked 2 looks fun. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about these games.
Doesn't Overcooked 2 already exist?
Oh, maybe it does. I don't know. I just assumed it was a new announcement.
I know that Power Wash Simulator 2 does not exist, because I'm really big into Power Wash Simulator, but I'm pretty sure Overcooked 2 is just a thing?
So, moving on, they announced a DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza. You can go back to Donkey Kong's home island. You can work for Void Kong at the Void Company for some reason that I don't understand, because I don't know the story about Donkey Kong Bonanza well enough. Even though I already had it spoiled for me. Like, I already know who the final boss is.
I don't, and I have not been at any opportunity to play it.
Well, it's not a big surprise. It looks fun. The next announcement, I don't know if you'll actually care about, but I think you'll agree that it is incredibly fucking funny.
Continue.
So they did a bunch of Pokemon announcements, and there's a brand new Pokemon side spin-off game that they announced.
Interesting.
They're going to be making a Pokemon Dragon Quest Builder style game.
Okay.
Where instead of building for little villagers, you're building for, various Pokemon.
Okay.
None of that's the exciting part. The exciting part is the very, very strange premise. You are playing as a Ditto disguised as a human.
Why?
I don't know, but I love it. It's really funny. Like, it starts out as this Ditto, and he looks at this like crude picture of like a person, and he just turns into a little girl with like the little Ditto face. And this is your character. There's a little girl with a Ditto face who's building homes for Pokemon.
Okay.
It's really funny.
That's odd.
Super odd. Pokemon Legends ZA, they had a big trailer for. They also announced the DLC that you can pre-order. Did ZA come out yet? I thought it wasn't released. I think it's kind of shitty that they're already pre-ordering DLC for it. But fuck Pokemon, I guess.
I could not tell you. Pokemon is like one of the largest game series that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I really, really fell off of it during Sword and Shield. Like, I just cannot care about massive Pokemon games anymore.
Pokemon Legends ZA is an upcoming action role game.
Yeah, so the DLC are going to have new Mega Evolutions for Raichu. There's going to be Mega Evolution X and Mega Evolution Y.
Okay,
and I'm sure there'll be lots of arguments over how stupid they look.
The game comes out in 5 or 4 days.
Oh, you know what the funniest fucking thing is? I accidentally skipped Metroid.
That is really funny. I thought you might have.
Yeah, it was in between. It was supposed to be in between the Overcooked and the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC. So yeah, the Metroid announcement.
Yay!
Was interesting.
Okay.
Like I said, it wasn't the biggest announcement of the trailer. It didn't have like a long time slot with like an extended like preview, which is what everyone is expecting. It was a fairly short trailer, but it was an action-packed one with a bunch of new stuff in it. And that's the weird part, because I kept on... Because if you remember, I'm like, this first trailer, this looks like a demo level.
Yeah.
And then the next trailer, I'm like, okay, well, this actually looks like gameplay footage. It does look like they made something. And this new one...
Interesting.
Okay. So Samus has a motorcycle, and there's going to be an open world.
Okay, so what they did is they took Breath of the Wild and put Samus in it. Got it.
I guess, kind of. I don't know. This is the first they've shown of it. Everything else before looked like Metroid Prime. Now it's like, okay, you're riding on a motorcycle, and it's got this huge, like... It actually kind of looked more like that... What was that Sonic open world game that came out recently?
Sonic, not Unleashed. That's the werewolf one.
The Curse of the Werehog.
I cannot remember the name of it. Maybe
it doesn't matter.
It's not really important.
I don't give a shit about Sonic. But, like, it felt more like that, and maybe it's because the world is so empty because it's based around going so fast on it, you know?
Yeah.
And I hate that kind of design. I hate that this is what they're doing. There's an official announcement for the release date. It's going to be December 2nd.
Okay.
And that's it. Like,
is it going to be on Switch or just Switch 2?
It's going to be on Switch.
Okay.
They've announced that they're not going to make it Switch 2 exclusive because that would really piss off a lot of people. Because remember, it was announced with the beginning of the Switch. It was going to be a big Switch game.
That means I can play it through methods and ways.
Personally, I was hoping that there would be, like, unrelated, like, just different Metroid news, you know, like a new 2D game that I could be excited for, but nothing like that. Just Metroid Prime 4.
Is it still first person, or is
it's still okay, so when you're on the motorcycle, it's third person, and then she gets off the motorcycle, and it basically turns into Metroid Prime. So I'm guessing there's going to be a big open world with, like, sub-areas connected to it.
Weird question. Is it dark?
What do you mean?
Is the game dark? Is it like is there a lot of light? Because when I imagine a Metroid game, every time I imagine like a Prime one,
it's dark.
Okay, I always imagine
it to be when
dark.
you imagine it, it's dark.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't say it is.
Weird.
Like they specifically showed her out on like this desert planet, fucking like ripping up sand clouds behind her and shit.
I find that odd. I just don't know. I don't like Samus in the sun. I don't know why this is a problem I have, but apparently it is.
You are starting to get it. You were starting to get it because these themes in Metroid are pervasive, and you're like, no, Metroid is supposed to be about loneliness. You can't have NPCs in Metroid. That ruins it.
I wouldn't say that I necessarily agree with that.
Well,
inherently,
that's the thing.
But like,
there's a lot of Metroid fans who are like, don't put NPCs in Metroid. Stop putting NPCs. Get Adam out of here. Fuck Adam. Get him out of this fucking game.
I will say the one time they did put NPCs is very prominent.
Oh, they've done it a lot, actually.
Well, I meant the one time it was extremely prominent. You know, the one time where it was like a big part of the whole story. You know that one game they made that literally everybody in the world hates?
There's some people who like it. It's got its
got
a Star Wars prequel resurgence.
Those people are wrong.
They are, but we'll get into it eventually. Oh, by the way, listeners, we are not talking about Metroid 2 today. I did not make another PowerPoint. I am working on the PowerPoint, but I do not have time to like get it all finished right away. So
also PowerPoint after PowerPoint we go crazy.
Oh God, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we got to space them out a little bit.
I also don't want them to be super long. Like I feel like that first one was a little bit too long, and I want them to be a little bit shorter than that from now on.
I think the main reason that one was that one felt long was because I had to rush you more than I wanted to. If I didn't have to rush you, I think it would have felt more natural.
Okay, so Metroid Prime, Donkey Kong Bonanza, all the Pokemon stuff. The big one, the big announcement, the one that I was like, okay, this is your internet-breaking announcement that I can't believe is in this Direct. It's not a Nintendo thing.
Is it Capcom?
It is Capcom.
I'm going to guess what it is.
You already saw the headline.
I did not see anything, except for like a still. I saw Capcom and a lady's face.
So you already know what it is.
I think it might be Resident Evil, but I don't actually know.
Resident Evil 9 was announced today.
Oh, okay.
And I am actually going to quickly go onto Reddit, and I just want to see what the front page of Reddit looks like.
Let's go ahead and check out.
Just to see if that is what I suspect will be one of the first things on it, if not the biggest announcement.
Talking about Resident Evil 9.
Nope. They're too busy talking about certain political events that I do not want to get into on this podcast.
Yeah. We're not doing that. If you want to do that, you're going to have to find another person to do it, because I'm not as political as you. I mean, I have strong opinions, but you just know more stuff.
I guess Resident Evil 9 does not break the internet today, but I still feel like that's the biggest announcement by far.
I guess. I don't know. Well, It depends. So let me tell you my Resident Evil history.
Okay.
Resident Evil 1, I didn't give a shit about any of the Resident Evils until 4.
Mm-hmm.
4 was the coolest Resident Evil because 4 is the best Resident Evil,
Okay.
almost arguably. And that's like lower praise, but we'll get there.
I've got opinions on Resident Evil myself I want to get into.
We'll do that. I love Resident Evil 4. It's one of my favorites, largely because it was introduced to me by Yahtzee Croshaw. I watched him play it, and I was like, that's really cool. I played it as a result of that. I really enjoyed it. I think it's really fun. I think the remake was okay overall. And then I didn't give a shit about 5, 6 at all, because who would? And then 7 came out, and I didn't care about when it came out, but years later it came back and played it again. Resident Evil 7 is really fun. It's a really good game. And I think Eric, our friend, has talked about how I think that's one of his more favorites. If I'm not mistaken, it might be somebody else, but I think he loves that one, and I think it's a really good game. And then I also played 8, which I loved way more than 7.
Really?
Yes, which I think is a specific controversial point because there's some people who either like the way they did in 7, where it was actually a horror game.
7, they really went back to basics there.
Or 8, where it's a lot more fantastical and fun.
See, 8 was the one that was very, very specifically trying to be not trying to be Resident Evil 4, but trying to
emulate Resident Evil 4.
In the same way that 7 was trying to emulate, like, the emotions of the original games, not necessarily the gameplay, but, like, the emotions. Resident Evil 8 was like, let's do Resident Evil 4 again, and let's try to recapture that.
And I loved it. I thought they did a fairly good job.
Did you play the 8 remake? Or, sorry, the 4 remake?
Yes.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I played the 4 remake. I said a minute ago, I think it's okay. I think that
I think you said that last week, actually.
Did I?
Yeah, because I feel like we talked about the Resident Evil 4 remake already a little bit.
You might have. I don't remember us talking about it, but I don't remember most of the episodes we do. So, I enjoyed the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think it had some issues, especially when compared to the original, but, like, it worked. It was fine.
So,
tell me about Resident Evil 9, Ben.
I don't know much about Resident Evil 9. It was a very, very story-focused trailer. You will play as a female FBI agent who is being called in to investigate something.
Cool.
It is going to be first person primarily again.
Good.
Because 8 had a third person mode, didn't it?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh no? Maybe
I don't think so.
Confused.
If it did, I don't know about it. But I'm pretty sure that all of the games where you play as I can't remember his name. Was it Ethan? I think the main character's name is Ethan. I think those are all first person because they're all supposed to be like insane.
Yeah, 9 from what I saw, which was not much, but it was mostly like there was this one shot that made me think: are they going back to the mansion from Resident Evil 1? Is that going to be like the main game or like up a level in the game, or am I getting confused because I don't know Resident Evil well enough? Because that's the thing. I've never actually played the Resident Evil games. Like I have played a little bit of several of them. I have watched some of it, but I have never sat down, played through all the way through any Resident Evil game. And the big thing is because I can't deal with horror games.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, I adore horror movies, as you know. I watch a shit ton. But video games I have a problem with because I get in this, like, immersive, like, this is triggering my actual danger settings, and I freak the fuck out. Like, I have never gotten super far into any horror game. I never even could get through Doom 3.
We've talked about this a couple times. Yeah, I think so.
And, like, so I know a lot about Resident Evil just entirely from a historical perspective. Like, I know a lot of the big design changes they went through the series, what a lot of the fans' opinions of them going forward and stuff like that. And, like, you know, the transition from, like, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and, what was, not 0, what was that one controversial,
Code Veronica?
Code Veronica, yeah. Code Veronica is an insane fucking game. I understand why people hate it, but I also understand why some people, like, still kind of love it.
I didn't know much about it.
And then Resident Evil 4 just changed everything. Just changed everything. It changed video games.
Yeah.
It is, again, one of those most influential games of all time.
Yeah.
There was an entire generation of games that were just, we are trying to copy Resident Evil 4. And some of us are succeeding and some of us are not. But this is just what video games are.
No one can copy Leon Kennedy, okay?
Leon Kennedy's pretty great.
We definitely talked about Resident Evil 4 last week. I'm now remembering talking about the suplexing. I don't remember what we said, but I do remember we did it.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool announcement. Resident Evil is a series that I like, you know, it continuing to make good, successful games that people enjoy. It's not a series I want to see die.
No, I think Resident Evil is pretty interesting. I didn't used to give a shit at all until I played 4, and then I was like, okay. And then I heard about 5 and 6, and then you look at 6, and it's got the giraffe blowjob thing.
6 was Capcom's best-selling game for a very long time.
Why?
It just was. Like 5, it literally went Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5, like as their best-selling games, and not even Resident Evil 4 was third. Like,
that's so weird.
They were just it was because Resident Evil 4 was so big that 5 and 6 sold so well.
I guess
and 5 had the big multiplayer thing, and 6 kind of killed the franchise for a while until it was revived with 7, and 7 had that big comeback kind of thing, and now Resident Evil is respected again because 6 was so fucking bad.
Yeah.
It was Monster Hunter World that eventually dethroned Resident Evil 6 as their best-selling game, and now it's like the top of the list is all Monster Hunter titles.
I kind of get that. I just can't get into the Monster Hunter games. I've tried so many times. I don't know what it is about them that I cannot attach myself to.
They have a series of JRPGs you could try, the Monster Hunter Stories setting.
I don't want to do that.
They had another trailer for the Switch 2 one. It's going to be like a Zelda Breath of the Wild style open world game, because now fucking everything is going to be.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I just I really like this, like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and I'll probably enjoy Bonanza whenever I end up getting to play that. I like Odyssey, even though it isn't really an open world game, but I just wish that they would try a little harder. You don't need it's the same problem as always is. As you were saying when we talked about Tears of the Kingdom,
it's shallow.
You can just do what they did for Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is a big map, but it is not shallow.
I mean, it is and it isn't. There is a lot of shallowness, but there's also a lot of depth, if that makes any sense.
Well, that's kind of what that's more what I'm talking about, is that there should be pitfalls when you're walking through this giant open world that create this massive area of depth, where you go into this town, and this town's story is so interesting, it just keeps falling you down to the point where you're getting invested, and then you're back up.
I feel like if you were to lose a lot of the time-wasting checklist quests from Witcher 3, it would actually improve that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely. In a way that, trying to do something similar for, Skyrim wouldn't, if that makes any sense.
Well, Skyrim's an open-world game, but it is specifically, intentionally not trying to have, a lot of in-depth. There's depth if you look for it. If you want to find the story and you want to learn about the Elder Scrolls series and the history is really interesting. But it's a game...
Okay, so I want to push back on this because I've gotten into so many arguments with Elder Scrolls fans who have not actually read the books. Because that's a thing. Elder Scrolls is kind of famous for having this big history of lore and all these things, and you can read all these books in game of the history of the world.
Can I real quickly push back on you for 1 second? I didn't mean the history of the actual Elder Scrolls. I meant the history of how it was created.
In the game?
No, how the creator came up with it.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
He got really...
Wasn't it just a D&D game?
No, he got really, really high and wrote the entire thing in one night.
Okay, that explains so much.
It does.
Okay, well, to roll into what I was saying, the lore in Elder Scrolls sucks. It's not good.
I didn't say it was good.
I know. I am telling a certain person who is not listening to this podcast, no, it sucks. And I know because I actually spent some time to read it when you didn't, you stupid asshole. Anyway.
Okay. Calm down.
I get really annoyed by people who get super into the Elder Scrolls games specifically because they see that there is depth, but they have no interest in exploring that depth at all. And when they explore the depth, it's okay, well, you actually know it kind of sucks. It's not good.
Well, they also might just have different tastes than you.
No, they don't know it. They haven't read it. Okay. I'm not arguing with the people who wrote the Elder Scrolls wiki. Those guys are legitimate fans who I have a lot of respect for. I'm talking about your boilerplate, I fucking adore Skyrim and Elder Scrolls games, and just fucking Bethesda in general.
My point was that, they have that, but that isn't what you're there for.
Have you read any of the... Did you read the books and stuff?
I don't give a shit about the books. Well, I'm not trying to get in-depthly interested. I do actually just play them.
I'm not interested in arguing with a devil's advocate who doesn't know.
I'm not making a devil's advocate. You're not listening.
You literally are.
I'm not.
You said, well, maybe it's their taste. And I'm they never read it.
I said it's their taste because I'm trying to make any point. Because I'm trying to get back to what I'm saying, Ben, which is that I only play the games for the gameplay. I don't care about the series as in depth. I'm saying that if people want to do that, there is a thing they can put themselves into. They can go in depth if they choose. That's all I said.
But okay, why?
Because they might want to.
The thing is, I don't care.
Then why are you arguing?
Why are you arguing?
I wasn't trying to argue. I wanted to make the point that it has some depth you can get into, but that's not really the focus. That's all I was trying to make.
No.
But the second I said it was interesting in any capacity, you said no, it couldn't be possibly.
So I think the Elder Scrolls games, because we were talking about like shallow content in open world games, I think the Elder Scrolls games and Bethesda's formula in particular blends shallow with serious content extremely well. And it's because their deep content is really shallow when it comes down to it. Like, dragon fights are not that amazing of an experience.
No, though. They just shoot them until you get the one that shout that lets you put them in the ground.
So the fact that, like, the biggest, most important storyline quest in Skyrim aren't significantly more exciting than some of the basic bitch stuff, but that the basic bitch stuff does get you really immersed in the world, because what the Elder Scrolls games does really, really well is in-the-moment world building and in-the-moment immersion.
Yeah.
As opposed to their lore, as opposed to their, like, history and backstory and, like, the world building that I don't think is good at all. Whereas The Witcher, a lot of their shallow content is just checklists. It's like, okay, throw a grenade into a ghoul den, clear out these enemies. It's like, this is completely mindless, boring crap. And then there's plenty of decent little mini quests, and then sometimes those mini quests turn out to be massive fucking quests, like that one where you encounter the bad guy from Witcher 2.
We talked about other stuff, but yeah, I didn't know about the bad guy about Witcher 2. I didn't play the Witcher 1 and 2.
And then, like, you got the new Breath of the Wild style open world, which is just very, very shallow, very, very gameplay focused, like lots and lots of fun. I am doing like physically fun things to do.
Yeah.
Lots of abnegation, but really no, like, major, like, in Breath of the Wild, I would say the only deep part of the game is Hyrule Castle. Like, I wouldn't even say the Divine Beasts are that complex.
No.
They're simpler than a Elder Scrolls dungeon. Like, yeah, they've got the mechanical focus of, like, manipulating the Divine Beast a little bit to solve some puzzles, but you're not going to spend any more time in the Divine Beast than a big Skyrim dungeon.
No, especially, like, yeah. I don't think that, yeah, I agree with you on that front completely. I think, like, they did a little better in Tears of the Kingdom, a little tiny bit, just because the dungeons for the actual bosses are more interesting.
Yeah. There's more deep content.
Yeah, but, like, it's the same problem of it not being, like, super that great. And then if you go back to, like, Monster Hunter World, I mean, like, I guess the Monster Hunter series has never been intentionally trying to be of any kind of depth.
I do not know, because I know so little about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's also fair. My interpretation is that what I know of the actual gameplay is that you hunt a monster, you take its stuff, and then you use that to make armor.
Well, I know the Rathalos monster is really popular. I know that in the Monster Hunter Stories games, there's like a Rathalos rider, like, as a character or something like that. And there is, like, a world here. There's world building. Monster Hunter World was specifically about them finding, like, a new continent worth of monsters.
Yeah.
And then Monster Hunter,
Wilds?
I was about to say Wilds as well. Is that the one for Switch where it's, like, Japanese?
I have no idea about that one. I know Wilds is the one I'm pretty sure came out after World.
I don't know. There's definitely, like, stuff that they're fleshing out, but at the same time, I do not know.
Yeah,
nobody talks about it.
Exactly. Nobody ever has a conversation about what Monster Hunter World if they're into it.
Okay, and to bring it back to the thing I was complaining about with Elder Scrolls, when people, like, we talk about The Witcher, you know the story is good in The Witcher because you kind of trust the serious number of people talking about how good the story in The Witcher is.
Yeah.
Even if you've never played it, you can trust that it is good. In the same way that you can trust that the story in Monster Hunter doesn't matter because nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
You can trust that the story in Dark Souls doesn't matter because you can play it without knowing it, but at the same time, it's really, really good if you get into it because
really
those people get into it. And then Elder Scrolls is the only series of games I know where people talk about the story as if it were good without ever actually having checked it. They're like, oh, and, like, we know that it has all this lore and stuff like that because there's all these books that you can read that I haven't read, but they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyway, Elder Scrolls deserves that fucking credit. Like, Bethesda deserves the credit for having all those books, for having the depth
Yeah.
there, and like it's also proof that like depth doesn't necessarily need to be something you can dive into. People can appreciate depth even if they don't actually look at it.
Well, they can look at a fucking lake and be like, look at that guy, so deep.
This might be a good time to transition into talking about Silksong. Oh no, I forgot. There is one final announcement from the fucking Nintendo Direct. The actual final announcement of the trailer, which blew over like a wet fart for me. I think a lot of people will be excited for it, but I was not at all. New Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, the problem with that is that I wish there was any specific game where I love it more than you'll ever love it. Like, at all. I mean, even like the Fallouts and Elder Scrolls, I'm not like that much more into them than you are. I don't know. But that Fire Emblem, it's like, I don't, like, whatever. I'm not going to play them. I know that.
I liked the first Fire Emblem that came out in the US, which would have been Fire Emblem 7. And I played during the brief. There was like, Fire Emblem's got 3 tiers of history. There's the original games made by the original creator, which is a very, very auteur-driven project, which a lot of people don't know about, a lot of people don't appreciate, but has its intensive fan base. He has got his own series that he has been making games in that is the spiritual successor to old Fire Emblem. So anyone who cares about that is probably playing that new thing, not modern Fire Emblem.
Gotcha.
Then there's the middle era, which is when it came to the US, and a lot of people remember it, but it never sold super well and kind of died off, and there was a while where Fire Emblem was going to disappear. And then Fire Emblem 11, aka Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS, was the one that introduced the anime dating simulator stuff.
That's what I knew about.
And now it's exploded and is more popular than it has ever been, and Fire Emblem is now the anime dating simulator RPG fantasy tactics series. And I don't hate it for that. I think those games are good. I enjoyed Awakening. I enjoyed shipping in Awakening. I spent a lot of time with a fucking spreadsheet trying to figure out which of my soldiers I was going to pair off with who, because that's going to determine the stats of their kids, and I'm trying to have a second generation army that was really powerful.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a thing I've never really cared about. I've never really gotten into generational based games, honestly. All the ones I've tried I've been like pretty lukewarm about.
Well, they're not all generational. It was the best of the original series was Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War, which is a fucking massive game, like just staggeringly huge. And that's gimmick was the story is so long that you eventually transition into a second generation of soldiers who, their stats are determined by the first generation's characters pairing up, and it's their kids that you're playing as. And that was a really cool mechanic. There's kind of an element of that between Fire Emblem 6 and 7, because 6 is the one with Roy, and then 7 is a prequel.
Yeah.
So you play as all of their parents instead, and you get to see, is this who Walt's mom is? Is this who Walt's dad is? Is Will Walt's dad? It's like, no, he could be Walt's dad, depending on how you pair it up, but also this could be Walt's dad. It's funny how that works, stuff like that. And then 11 Awakening really brought back that generational breed your soldiers mechanic thing, because they're like, okay, we're gonna have a time travel thing where all the kids come back from the future to try to save the past, and now all of the parents are gonna be playing with their adult kids that aren't born yet because they haven't even married their future spouses.
Okay. My point remains. I still haven't gotten into any games like that of any kind, and I think the original like Dragon Quest games that you might even talk about, I think those were probably a thing before I was really, it would have been interested in that kind of game.
Okay, I have an idea for something I definitely want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I want you to go over your introduction into video games and the kind of games that you were into when you were really young and discovering the hobby.
Oh, okay.
You want to
now?
We could do that now. I figure we talk about Silksong first, and then maybe your other stuff.
Let's talk Silksong, and worst case scenario, we shelve it till next week.
So yeah, Fire Emblem. It's going to be a Three Houses follow-up. I'll just add that for our listeners.
Yeah, that's the most recent one, right?
No. Okay. So Three Houses was massively popular. So popular that it got a lot of push at the Game Awards and stuff. A lot of people were like, this is the best game of the year. And it was good. I don't know. I didn't play it. I mean, I did play it. I bought it. I just fell off of it really quickly. I believe them when they say it's really good.
Okay.
There was another Fire Emblem game that you didn't even know about because nobody cared about it.
Okay.
And now the new one is okay, well, this is going to be a big story-focused one, and we have a character that's from Three Houses, so there's going to be definitive
I'm
link
going to talk about Silksong now. Talking a lot about Fire Emblem, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's what Nintendo does to me. They put Fire Emblem into stuff I don't want to talk about.
I shouldn't have engaged further with Fire Emblem. That's the most recent one, right? No. Oh, well, now we have to talk about it. Move your mic closer to yourself.
I keep doing it. Oh, I know it's behind the camera, but I'm also afraid that it's going to, it's going to be too loud and distorted.
Our biggest complaint is that we're too quiet.
Oh, okay.
So don't be too worried about it. Silksong. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go off without spoilers off rip. You should definitely play Silksong, in my opinion. I really, really like the game.
So I finally bought it.
Yep.
I have played it for one uninterrupted session, long enough to get to the dash ability, which you described to me last week's episode.
Yep.
I really wanted to see this goddamn dash ability because I did not understand what you were trying to describe. And
can you describe it better?
Yes.
Please go ahead, because I felt I couldn't describe it better than myself. I didn't know what to do.
Okay, so mechanically, the way the dash works is you hold in the R button to make her run forward automatically.
Yep.
And it gives her a dolphin jump.
Yes.
Okay, what that means is that since you don't have full control over her, she is running without your command as long as you're holding the R button. You just, have control over her momentum and direction and stuff. When you jump, she now does this really fucking cool spinning long jump thing. Where she does this long dive and she spins through the air. It's a dolphin jump. Mechanically, it feels a lot like Echo the Dolphin or even the swimming segments in Majora's Mask. Yeah. And those are so fun, dude, when you're just oh my god. But you can also do this really cool backflip maneuver when you're in run mode.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, let's talk about Silksong. I love Silksong so far.
I'm really enjoying it. I took some notes, but I kind of ended up not taking as many notes. I don't know how you've dealt with this yet.
Okay.
The new way they do downward mechanics.
The downward slash. Okay, so for our listeners who have not played Hollow Knight, from the beginning of the game, when you have your little nail sword, you can swing in front of you, you can swing directly up, and when you jump into the air, you can swing down. And this is a shockingly important little maneuver in that game.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to pogo off of obstacles for platforming, but it's also, low-key one of your strongest combat techniques. Because you can just bounce on top of an enemy and do a lot of damage from a safe position really quickly. Mm-hmm. They have changed it massively in Silksong.
They sure have. In Silksong, you get an angular point. It's I think it's roughly 45.
It's what they would call a dive kick.
Yes, like a dive kick.
It's a 45-degree angle. You shoot down, and when you hit an enemy, you bounce off, and you have a lot of control when you bounce. You can bounce forward and just keep on going, or you can bounce backward and reposition for another strike.
It's cool. The only issue is that it's a bit precise for a lot of the maneuvering. And they still have the thing where you have to bounce off of items or pogos. You still have to pogo, but now it's very directional. And if you fuck up, it's pretty precise, and you'll just go right past it.
Yeah. So you can probably guess how I feel about it.
I think that you'd be into it, wouldn't you?
I adore it.
Yeah.
I'm as soon as I'm I just immediately started dive kicking everywhere. I'm this is now how I move through this game. I just dive kick and I ledge jump.
Yeah.
Dive kicking and ledge jumping. That is how I play this. And then as soon as I got the dash, I'm okay, now I understand why they made the dash the way it was. It was so it could then flow into the dive kick.
There's so many more things you need to discover that I can't talk about right now.
Because now you can dash, do a dolphin jump into a dive kick, bounce off their head, keep on running. Oh, you can do an aerial, a tumble, because when you press the R button when you're in the air, you do a short dash tumble maneuver.
Yep.
Not the same kind of air dash. Oh my god, the platforming is so good.
Isn't it?
The movement is incredible.
Isn't it great?
I am a little surprised they went so hard in this direction because if I were to make a single complaint out of what I've experienced so far, it's that this game is insanely fucking difficult. It is hard. I'm not far into the game at all, and I've already died dozens of times.
I agree with you. I think it is pretty difficult. I don't think it's I don't know. My thing is I think the platforming and everything, all that it's difficult enough, but I can get over it.
I think the platforming is quite difficult, and when you combine the platforming with the more advanced combat system, which they do a lot, they're hey, let's have you platform while a bunch of fucking flying enemies are also attacking you. Have you having fun yet? And I'm yes.
I don't know.
Please give me more.
I don't know exactly where you get the dash. I can't remember in the context of the game. Where do you know what the area you are roughly?
Yes.
Because it's gonna be in the beginning of the game.
So the first area is designed a lot like the Green Path, which is the area you find Silksong. You find Hornet in the first Hollow Knight. So it's a very green, verdant area. It's very, very beautiful. The second area, right attached to that, is this like rocky, like it's made out of like millions and millions of dead bug fossils, and it is like a crumbling ruin of bones and stuff like that. And there's like a lava area. Like actually this screenshot here or not screenshot, but this concept art, like you can see how there's like flames and stuff like whipping around her. This is the second area of the game. Like the second area looks like the pits of hell.
Yeah, the marrow.
It looks like the that's what it's called, the marrow. It's that bone thing.
I'm not ignoring
it.
It
looks like the final level of like another video game. And I'm like, this is just level 2. What the fuck is going on here?
I've thrown the map on so that I could use that as a reference for what you're talking about.
I've also just barely scratched the surface of an ant colony area.
So
which reminded me a lot of the Mantis Village.
I love that you mentioned the ant area. I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because it has really left an impression on me so far.
Did you notice? Have you killed anything in the ant area?
You mean how the little ants carry the corpses away?
They carry the corpses away.
So, like, there's tiny little ants, like, as background decorations that are just crawling across the ground everywhere, and it just makes it so the floor looks like it's squirming a little bit, and I love that effect. But yeah, like, you kill some enemies, and the corpses will always drop down, and usually they fade into gray. But in this area, they just get picked up by the floor and get carried off.
I loved that when I got to that point. Another thing I'll tell you about this area is that when I first started playing it, it was my least favorite fucking area in the game.
It's hard as shit.
Yes, because that's the area where there's a lot of that's where a lot of bouncing needs to happen all at once, and like it's very straight. I'm sure you've recognized at this stage. It's very much a go in one direction, pretty much, and it's so annoying at certain points.
So
that's also. Where I mentioned fighting that boss that I was having issues with.
Was it that barbarian ant?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I was having a lot of fun fighting him, but I also gave up several times because it's like, okay, I don't think I'm supposed to fight him. He's too hard. I can literally just leave at any time, so I'm gonna try doing that, and I'm gonna explore somewhere else.
I will say that I got that after we did that podcast last week, and I got home. I beat him like immediately, and I was like, "Oh, this is not nearly as difficult as I was making out to be in my own head." But
he was he's hard.
Oh,
he's simple.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying. That's the point I was going to get to. He's not actually like ridiculously complicated. It's just that I was having issues at the time.
Very like this gameplay is so smooth. So, did you bounce off his head repeatedly to damage him? Because that's what I did.
I could not tell you at this stage. It's been too long.
I did eventually beat him, but then I didn't explore the ant area from that side. I still ended up going up and around, and I'm like, oh, I just entered the ant area from the back. I guess that's what you're supposed to do. Fighting this guy was always an optional thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, they've done that a few times in the game, actually, but I haven't noticed it as much because I've been playing it very direct.
See, I get really frustrated when like games like that have the branching paths that are right next to each other because I'm going to end up exploring both paths and it just feels very, very inefficient, and I do a lot of backtracking and I don't want to do the backtracking.
Yeah.
Like that was a big problem I had in Dark Souls 3, like that first village area. Like right away there is a big fork and you can go very far through the level in one way or you can go very far into the level in another way and they will eventually meet back together. But if you want all the random pickup items, if you want to see all the content, you gotta fucking do it twice.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts. That's like, no, this is the bad kind of backtracking. This is the bad kind. The good kind is when you give me a new ability that lets me blast through that old area super, super fast. Like a dash. Or a speed booster.
The other stuff I have in my notes is I'm going to have to save for when we start doing spoiler talkie. So give me one moment there. But I will now relay to you Eric's problem.
Eric's problem?
Because Eric was playing the game and he messaged me about it. And he said that he doesn't like it very much.
Does he? Okay, so the big controversy that I've seen online is specifically about runbacks.
That's not his thing.
Really?
No, I will be talking about that at length a little bit because when we get to the spoilers, because there's two areas where I'm really pissed about it. But his problem, because he like just started playing it a couple days ago, like you, and he said that his problem was the movement in combat does not feel fluid. And
I firmly disagree.
I I did not want to be rude to him.
I mean, it's fluid.
He also was saying he's playing on Switch, which I don't know if that was an issue at all.
I am also playing on Switch, and I am personally having... I don't know if it's a Switch analog problem or if it's just I have short thumbs and I have a hard time doing action games a lot of the time. But, like, some of those fucking platforming segments, especially in that ant area when you're bouncing up, you're over spikes, and the spikes do 2 damage, not just 1, which is, that's
annoying.
A choice. That's a fucking interesting choice, Team Cherry. And there's ants that are flying around and attacking you, and they're, like, dive bombing you and stuff, and you can bounce off of them, too, but at the same time, like...
Yeah, so he actually also...
Changing direction was nightmarish. It's like I'm trying to move forward, but then I'm trying to swing back down to do another down kick, and then I'm trying to maneuver again once I hit in the air.
Trying to get your diagonal kick that you just did going left go right, like that minor difference that's so difficult to get down. He actually mentioned specifically the ant area. That is the area where he's having the least amount of fun because he's just getting frustrated. You said he was just getting frustrated trying to get to the area, and it's so difficult.
It's too difficult.
I gave him advice, and I'll give you this advice, and this is like the last piece of not really spoilers I can really do.
Okay.
Without going into more depth, and I'll try to be minimized when we do spoilers, so I'm not like ruining your gameplay. If you go to the guy in the Bone Marrow Village, the Bone Bottom, and you talk to the merchant, and he has a key, you can buy that key. You can go up in the area. There's an area above Bone Barrow.
I found kind of like a prison that had like multiple guys in there. Is that where you use the key?
No, don't think so.
So better not waste the key there if it works there.
I'm not sure what you're referring to be honest. But if you go, there's a door. If you go up in the top area, which is kind of difficult to get to, but you'll be able to figure it out. Get to the top area. You can go to the left, and you have to do some pretty difficult maneuvering to get here, but there's a door over here.
Okay.
You go through that door, you keep going, and eventually you'll get to an area where you can find... I'm not going to go into it at this stage, but you can find something after a challenge that will help you familiarize yourself with the game a little better and help a lot with those jumping puzzles.
Interesting. It's a new ability, I take it?
Yeah, but I'll explain in just a moment.
How do you feel about the tool system?
I think the first tool they give you is fucking lame, but the more you find, the more interesting they get. And our mutual friend Mike annoyed the shit out of me recently by telling me an item that he found that I did not want him to tell me about.
Why? Was it a spoiler, or is it just something that you didn't...
This is very specific spoiler that I would have liked to have found on my own.
Don't spoil it for me.
No, I will not.
Spoiling. One of the major things that made the first Legend of Zelda catch on was this kind of talk outside of the game. It was kids like, how do you get past this part? What are the weird secrets? I found this thing, you know? Mm-hmm. It is one of the big reasons Dark Souls is so successful is because it fostered that kind of like communication. The fact that you can be like, here, let me tell you about the secret area you can find where you can get an ability that's going to make these parts much, much easier. Mm-hmm. Like if I were telling you to play Metroid Fusion, I'd be like, okay, right before the first boss fight after that energy tank, shoot a missile into the ceiling and you can get a second energy tank, and that's massive. Whoa. That doubles your health for like the entire first third of the game.
Yes, that's really fun and cool.
I love that kind of shit.
I love it, yeah. So, I have to now make I'm going to clap. Hello, audience. I'm going to clap for you real quick. We have to now go into spoiler territory.
Oh, yeah, this is where you put the timestamp? I just clapped. You do the clap. The official clap.
The official clap.
Timestamp. On screen. Skip to this if you want to avoid Silksong spoilers.
Yeah, you don't want to see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to be crazy spoilers. I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you a couple things. The boss I found the most difficulty with when I was like continually doing notes and I didn't get sucked in and forgot I had to do notes was the Moorwing.
Okay.
So it's after a certain area. I can't really exactly. I'm not going to go in depth as to where.
But it's such a bad memory for this kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you and I are too different. I have to rely on you to remember everything. I do not remember details of games. I just love playing them. I
hyperfixate on the games I play, and that's why I can't figure out what the hell is going on in real life around me most of the time.
Yes, this is the strengths and weaknesses of you two people.
By the way, thank you for always organizing and setting up the podcast.
Anytime.
Spoiler talk.
The Morrowind, and it's a giant like bird type enemy that will swoop down and attack you, and you have to like. It's so difficult to get on top of it. It does a fucking a ball. Oh, the ball is so annoying. You're sitting there, and it'll just like throw a wind ball at you, and it doesn't like just go forward. It bounces and then comes back.
Ooh.
It was such a pain in the ass. But one of the cool things is that you can fight that person if you go the right route. Because Mike didn't go this way; he found a different way. But there's a character in the game who's like a warrior,
Okay.
and if you meet him up at the right time, you can fight that boss with him.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not super helpful, but he's there, and it's so nice.
That was a that was a gimmick in the first Hollow Knight, right? One of the 3 main bosses you have to fight in order, or one of the. I forgot there isn't a boss of the spider area, but
One of them you can fight with Hornet.
yeah, not
Yes.
Hornet, the other guy.
Oh
Well-
yeah, I think there's one you can fight with Hornet too, isn't there?
Can't you fight the Hollow Knight with Hornet? Like
I
the
don't-
the penultimate final boss?
My memory of fighting someone with Hornet was the one in the green area, the green house area.
I don't remember.
I don't remember very much either.
I gotta replay Hollow Knight.
That was
Maybe I'll
my
get around
thought.
to that.
I should have to replay for original Hollow Knight.
Well, there's a thing I thought I was having. I was playing Hollow Knight 2 and I was getting sucked into it. And I mean sucked into it because I think the presentation of this new world, Farloom, is really cool.
I love the opening scene when you're being taken by these people, and then I remember last week I was saying that it seems like the higher power is like letting you free immediately because the bug comes and lets you free.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe they're intentioning for you to do this.
Their referencing of the Citadel has got me super, super intrigued. I love Hornet as a character. You mentioned
Yes.
that last
Oh,
week
yeah.
as well. I'm going to reiterate. Like, her spoiler talk. Are we still doing spoilers, by the way?
Spoiler.
Like you said, she has this really, really like dignified way of talking.
Yeah.
That is like she's really cool. I don't know how to put it.
She feels like a real knight. She feels like the most
she is
legitimate
a proper
representation
knight.
of a knight you've ever seen.
I'm actually very happy because I prefer silent protagonists most of the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, this is my character. You shut the fuck up, okay? I'm the one who does the speaking here, not you.
Fallout 4.
Oh my god, yeah, that
Let's go.
that pisses me off so bad. And this, when they do it right, I'm like, I can get really attached to a particular character. What I kind of hate is, you get super, super into like one game, and the second game takes place in an entirely different world, entirely different whatever. It's all connected, but it's different.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I wish I could fight the Mantis Lords in this game. Because the Mantis Lords were like the coolest thing in the original game, and like this one is cool, but it doesn't have the Mantis Lords, so it doesn't feel complete anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing is complete. And I don't know if I'm going to feel like that by the end of Silksong, but at the same time, like, I'm getting so sucked into what they have here, it's like, this can kind of rewrite my feelings over the original Hollow Knight. Like, these stand apart better than a lot of sequels do.
I don't really have that sort of issue. I actually kind of generally prefer it if the second game is like radically different from the first.
Yeah,
That's
I do
my
too.
experience.
I prefer radically different rather than mostly the same and slightly better, but not having my favorite stuff from the first, if that makes any sense.
I guess. Okay. But I don't even recognize them as like the same game in my internal memory, if that makes sense. Like the tone is totally different because the tone in this game is way lighter. It's way yeah. Because like in Hollow Knight, it's
very spooky.
It's it's much closer to Metroid.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, there's like you shouldn't really be in the sun. There's not a lot there. It's spooky, as you were saying. There's a lot of really creepy enemies in that game, and in Silksong so far, there's a lot more bright areas. There's a lot of light, and there's a lot less creepy like animal or bugs.
Well, maybe it's because that opening area, I can't remember what the opening area is called. The Green World, I'll call it. It's called the Green Path in Hollow Knight 1, because it looks very much like the Green Path from
Moss
Hollow Knight
Grotto.
1. Moss Grotto, yeah. Moss Grotto is so different from the Forgotten Crossroads.
It's not even funny.
The Forgotten Crossroads is dark purple.
Yeah, it's dark and it's like depressing largely, and like there's elements of that in this game because Bone Bottom, which is where you end up.
Well, the Marrow where I'm at is, like I said, it looks like the depths of hell, and it's level 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this game? I'm already getting okay. I haven't beaten the boss yet. but
Which boss?
I think you'll know which boss I mean, because it seems like an exciting boss. So this girl, she just starts insulting Hornet and
Lace.
challenges you to a duel. Lace, that's her name, and it's like a proper like fencing duel, and it is so intense. And it's like, okay, I can't beat this. This is way too hard. I'm gonna have to grind this for hours, and I do not have the energy on these days where I'm getting out of work and I just want to play video games.
I like Lace. I really think it'd be funny if they did another game just in 10 years with Lace as the main character.
Lace seems like a really great rival character. I'm already enjoying it.
I do love her. I loved it when you enter in there and she goes, ah!
The first boss I had a hard time with was the fucking Bell Beast, though.
Yeah.
Which is the second boss, I think. The first boss was that like the Moss Mother, which
Yeah.
is like just a green flying bug. It's
It's kind
very
of
much
an intro one.
It's very much like a basic Hollow Knight boss, because Hollow Knight has a lot of those bosses, which are just like a big enemy that flies around. Whereas Silksong is like, hey, basic enemies are going to have weird attack patterns.
Yep.
Why? Why is okay? The game is hard.
Yes.
I want to bring this back. So, if for listeners, spoiler, can we say
Yes,
spoilers are
continue.
officially over?
Okay.
The ways that it is harder. First of all, damage. How damage works. Your healing ability is different from Hollow Knight 1 in that you heal 3 damage points instead of just 1 at a time. I can't really tell if it's faster or slower. I feel like in the original one, you had to hold the button to charge it, and this one you just tap it and it'll automatically go into the animation.
Yep.
But multiple enemies do 2 points of damage instead of just 1.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking
right
annoying.
away. And lots of hazards do 2 points of damage instead of 1. So you take so much more damage, so you're constantly on a knife's edge in this fucking game.
Yeah, and I think one thing I've noticed, especially later areas, is there's a lot of like really low risk enemies who are almost like not even present, who you can farm silk off of so that you can heal more. That's the thing I've been noticing a lot more and more. But I'll tell you my like biggest complaint so far is we were talking about the runbacks. You mentioned the runbacks. Most of them have been fine. There are 2 in particular. One I'm actually dealing with right fucking now in the game that is incredibly annoying. We're out of spoilers, so I can't go into more depth. But it's fucking annoying as shit. And then the other one is the one that right before you get into the Citadel. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that's the one that most people have talked about.
I'm not far enough in the game yet. I'm a little bit afraid.
You know, you're not even nearly that. I'm in like online. That one is annoying, but you can get through it pretty easily if you just like continually do it and you get used to the whole process. You probably even defeat certain enemies and come back and make it a little bit easier.
So I have opinions on runbacks because they are a feature of many of my favorite games. And we'll just get back to it. Metroid, in particular Metroid Fusion, was one of the most formative gaming experiences for me as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And while they're not a major part of that game, there is one very notable part that has been burned into my memory and has been influenced my love of that game and games like it ever since.
Okay.
So Metroid Fusion is a fairly hand-holdy kind of game. They tell you where you're supposed to go most of the time. They were trying to like get more people into the series, and I feel like they did succeed in that regard. But there's a test moment when you're like, okay, Samus, you need to get back to your ship right away, and you're on an elevator, and the elevator just stops.
Right.
And that's not how elevators work in Metroid games. Elevators transition you from area to area. This is basically a loading screen. It just stopped halfway up. What the fuck am I supposed to do now? Well, now's you're playing Metroid. You figure this shit out on your own. We're testing you finally moment. When you get back to your ship, you find out that all the power has been out in the entire station. And in the logic of the game world, that also means that save stations don't work because they need power to function. So the only place you can save at this point in the game is your own ship. In order to get the power back on, you need to go investigate the station's core and see if you can find the auxiliary power station to get the save rooms and the door. Well, it doesn't get the doors working, but it gets the save room working.
I think I played that one and I played the section. I'm remembering this.
So yeah, it's this ridiculously long kind of part where you have to go from your ship into the depths of the station. You get to the core and you fight a boss there. And it's not even the boss that's causing the power problems, but it is a very, very difficult boss. Easily the hardest boss up until that point of the game. One of the hardest bosses in the game. And anytime you lose, you have to go back to your ship and go all the way through the segment again.
Yeah.
So it is it's the only run back in the entire game, and it's a hard run back, and it's a hard boss, and it is the most memorable thing of all time. Like, at this point, I was so invested in Metroid Fusion, nothing was going to stop me from beating this game, you know? I also spent a lot of time thinking about runbacks in Dark Souls 1 and how they aren't as big of a thing as people remember.
I don't remember them being that bad.
Well, there's the first one, to the Taurus Demon.
Yeah.
Where it's basically all of Undead Burg is a runback.
Yeah.
And that's because Undead Burg is a tutorial. And it is a difficult runback. It is a long and difficult runback because you are learning how to play Dark Souls every time you fucking die against the Taurus Demon and have to go through it again.
Yeah.
By the end of that, like, every other boss, I went through it in my head. I even considered doing it on the show, but I realized you wouldn't want me to do that. But, like, there isn't another long runback throughout the rest of the game. And if it's long but empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the worst ones where it's like, okay, I have to run all the way across Lost Izalith, including through a segment through lava, meaning I have to equip that thing that reduces the lava damage and then de-equip it because I'm not going to use that ring anywhere else.
Yeah.
And nothing. It's boring. The run back to Ornstein and Smo, pretty easy. There's two Silver Knights and then the Sentinels in the big room.
Yeah.
The run back to...
Literally skip them.
Like I said, I could go through all of them. And the reality is that not many of them are hard. You've got the Taurus Demon at the beginning. And you got Gwyn at the end because there's 5 Black Knights protecting him. So that's also a long run back. But at that point, you're probably running past those fucking Black Knights, so you're not fighting them either. The only one you spend that much time fighting the enemies for were the Taurus Demon again.
Yeah, because, like, I think of it as... I think you're right. It's just the way that they do the tutorial. They want you to get used to the idea of this, even if it isn't going to be necessarily in forefront. But I remember... My memory is not at the point when... Not great, as we discussed, but my memory from when the first time I played it, I don't remember as much. I can only tell the context of now, and now it's just, like, easy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider the Taurus Demon to be a difficult run back on my own.
No, well, the Taurus Demon, it's a fascinating thing for me, because I remember Undead Burg being big, and I remember it being long, and I remember it taking me forever, and then I remember replaying Dark Souls and being like...
Where is everything?
What happened to the game? It's, like, so small, it's so easy, I can go through this no problem. Whether I just sprint past the enemies or actually fight them, it's not that bad.
No, it's super easy, especially at the beginning. No, I shouldn't say especially at the end, but, like, yeah. I agree with you 100%. Like, I just don't remember it being as difficult as it is, but now that I go back, it's like, oh, how did I have trouble with this?
You learned how to play Dark Souls, and that was a really effective way of learning how to play Dark Souls, and honestly, it sucked a lot of people in. I think it's a great way of doing it. But that was at the beginning of the game, and then you have that big memorable moment in Metroid Fusion that was, like, in the middle of the game. And from what I'm understanding, the big problem in Silksong is that there's just too many of these runbacks. Too many of them that are too long, too many that are too difficult.
I don't know.
You mentioned one particular one.
The one I'm currently dealing with is in a, like, pretty late game area. The main issue with it, I'm a little ashamed. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not. I had to look up where another bench was. Because my biggest complaint, unironically, has been that there's almost no fucking benches in this game. This is not something you're going to experience for a little while.
I mean, I've noticed that out of, like, the 5 benches I found, 3 of them I've had to pay money to unlock.
That is fucking annoying.
And I'm dying a lot more, and you lose money Dark Souls style, so money actually matters in this game, like it did not in Hollow Knight 1.
I just mean there are multiple areas where there's going to be, at the absolute maximum, 1 bench, and they might just fuck you over in some ways.
I forgot. The most notable fucking run back in Dark Souls 1. The Four Kings. There's no save rooms in all of New Londo. And again, that's one of my favorite parts of the game, and that's a really hard run back too. I don't know how I forgot this. I went through this in my head when I wanted to talk about this stuff. You remember that, right?
Nope.
You don't remember the Four Kings?
No.
Whoa. Okay, well...
We're talking about Silksong.
Yeah, no, well, to compare things to Silksong, if you don't have that frame of reference. Because my point is, like, a run back can make for a ridiculously memorable part of the game.
Yeah, it can, but it can also just be ridiculously frustrating. That's the other problem. And my point with the benches is that, like, it exasperates the run back problem a little bit. In my experience, I think the majority of the bosses have been close enough to a bench to where it's not going to be like the worst thing ever. You're not going to have to go through the whole fucking level.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be unbelievably annoying. But there's just a few areas where like you go and there'll be just one bench in one place. And if you want to do anything in this place, you need to get to that one bench, and then you have to do everything from there. And it's just fucking annoying. And there's one in the Hunter's March, which is the ant area that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to that bench yet?
No.
Okay. I will not talk about that bench then.
Well, my experience with the Hunter's March has been runbacks.
Yeah,
I died almost immediately doing a platforming segment, and then I had to run back, get my
your cocoon.
My cocoon. I do love the new system. I hated the phantom guy that you had to kill from
it didn't
Hollow
make
Knight
a lot
1.
of sense, but like I thought they were gonna do more with it, to be honest, the cocoon, but they haven't so far in my experience.
I like that it is just there, and you hit it once, and then you immediately get everything back, and then something in the stage kills you, so it doesn't matter. You have to redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would die. I would get my cocoon. I'd get a little bit farther, and then I would die immediately again. I'd be like, I don't feel comfortable enough that I am going to keep on making steady progress. I really do not want to lose all my goddamn rosary beads.
Yeah.
So at some point, I did actually just go back, and I'm like, I'm not going to do the Hunter's March area yet. I'm going to do something else first.
That's what I ended up doing.
Because that area is hard. Like there was one room, and there was a low path and a high path, and I took the low path first. And the low path had an ant with 2 daggers that stunk into the ground, and he's like a ninja. And I'm like, why does this guy have so many special attacks? Is he a mini boss or something? It's like, no, this is just an enemy. The high path had this ant was a glaive.
Yep.
And that guy, what the actual fuck? He was a full-on fucking mini boss. He had attack patterns. He's doing 2 fucking damage per strike. I've only got 5 health. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, and then also he's like he has a shitload of health.
I wanted to compare in the original game, in the Dusty Crossroads, whatever the first area is, there's just basic bugs. Like there's a little bug that walks forward, and then there's one that kind of charges forward, and there's one that hops up and down.
Yeah.
These are your basic attack bugs. In Silksong, they've got these possessed pilgrims that are almost the exact same thing, where they've got 3 variants of them. But all of their movement is weird and chaotic. The one guy will stop and then dash forward. The other guy does a really weird arc jump that it's where are you going? What am I supposed to do? It's so much harder on a base level.
And then there's the one that throws a bell, and every time you're like, you fucking hate you bell guy.
I haven't seen
flying.
the bell guy yet, but I hate him already.
every time he does it, he throws a bell, and he's like, I fucking hate you because you can smack the bell, and it's not difficult. Avoiding him is easy. The problem is that you try to get up to him, and you jump up to hit him, and as soon as you get here,
he gets out of the way.
It's like, fuck! Why is every flying enemy like this?
The joke I've seen is that the tutorial for Hollow Knight was the Forgotten Crossroads, and the tutorial for Silksong is literally all of Hollow Knight.
Yes.
The review, I watched a review by a speedrunner named Jupiter Climb. He is a Castlevania speedrunner. He does some Metroid games.
Yeah.
And he says that he got 100% already, and he thinks Silksong is his favorite game. He thinks it might be the best game ever made, to him anyway.
Best game ever made.
He was going on about the difficulty. He's like, this isn't and towards the end of the game, this isn't Hollow Knight difficulty. This is God Home difficulty, the DLC for Hollow Knight that I never beat.
I also
because it was too hard for me.
Yeah, it's difficult. I don't know. My attitude toward these is always annoying because I will recognize the difficulty, but my thought process is if I can surpass it, it doesn't really matter, and I stop seeing it as difficult, which I don't think is fair.
It is and it isn't. The joy of a difficult game is surmounting the difficulty and then realizing that it will kind of never be difficult ever again.
Yep.
It is something I experienced with Metroid Fusion when I started. That was a game that took forever. It is an incredibly hard game by most people's standards, but after I finished it, I started replaying it every day.
Yeah.
Just start to finish, I'm going to speedrun this every single day because I adored that game. It's the riding the bicycle feeling. It's the going back to the Undead Burg, and it's so much smaller now.
Yeah.
Compared to how I remember it. And when Souls fans get really fucking pissy about an easy mode, it's because they really want to preserve that feeling in other people. It's you don't understand if you do not ever actually climb over that hump.
Yeah.
You can keep on insisting that that the hump is a different thing for you versus me, and that I'm at just a different skill level and everything. But you do not know that until you have finally actually done it. I can judge my skill level versus other Dark Souls players because I know how hard it is for me versus how hard it was for them. I think Dark Souls is really hard. I spent a lot of time, a really long time beating those bosses, but I did do it, and now it feels easy for me.
Yeah, my experience with bosses in particular, especially in Silksong, is a lot of I'm gonna put my head against this. I'm just smacking my head against this, and I'm seeing every attack, and I'm recognizing it. One boss in particular, which I won't get too deep of, I kept doing it, and I kept failing, and I'm like, all I need to do is recognize all of their attack beginnings, the beginnings of their attack, and I will win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I then thought of that, went into the fight, and won with one round. I don't even think I took a damage.
It's weird how that happens. The most formative Dark Souls experience for me, difficulty-wise, was actually Dark Souls 2. The Fume Knight is very famous for being the hardest boss in the entire series, from all the Dark Souls games and most of the FromSoft games. I'm sure there's harder stuff in Sekiro and Elden Ring by now, but for a while, the Fume Knight was harder than anything in Dark Souls 3.
I'm glad you brought up Elden Ring, because that has brought me to a point that I wanted to make. I have talked probably on this podcast. I know I've talked to you about it personally. One of my biggest problems with the way Elden Ring does its difficulty is that it isn't difficult. It's just time.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Damage sponges.
Yes. I wouldn't even say it's not necessarily damage sponges. I don't think Millennia is a damage sponge. I think that's her name. I don't think she's really a damage sponge.
But the animations take so much time and make you impatient.
It's just it's 5 minutes of you doing that, and I have to be here waiting for you to be done.
The secret to designing really difficult stuff that isn't actually difficult, the secret to hard but fair, is to play on people's impatience. Because 9 times out of 10, the mistake that you make, that you made that mistake, it was your fault, not the game's fault, is when you acted when you shouldn't have. And you can recognize that you got impatient and you acted more than you shouldn't have.
I think that's totally fair. But
I think they've taken it too far.
I think Elden Ring goes too far, man.
I think they've taken it too far.
And I think there's a couple of bosses in Silksong that does it too.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 that I can think of right now. Maybe 3 with one other, but there's 2 in particular. One, I won't go into depth about it, but one is when you fight him, and half of the fight, the entire screen is filled with bullshit attacks that you have to just dodge, so you can't attack them. And the other half of the fight, they're not on the fucking screen.
There was a fine line for a couple of bosses because Nightmare, Troop Leader Grim, whatever the hell he's called, the DLC boss, versus Nightmare King Grim, you have a dream version of the fight. 2 of the best fights in the game, the easier version and the harder version. I do like the harder version, but some people insist that it's a worse fight.
Which
because
game? Sorry?
Of Hollow Knight 1.
Hollow Knight 1, okay.
Because some of his attacks are just, I'm going to do a big screen-clearing attack thing that you just have to spend several seconds dodging, and you cannot do anything except focus entirely on dodging this one attack.
Yes.
You can't get any healing in, you can't get any extra damage in, you have to focus 100% on not taking damage, because this attack will kill you very quickly, and it is a very complicated thing that you've got to practice to dodge.
Yeah.
Some people hate that shit.
I don't even necessarily have a problem with it. I wouldn't describe it as that. It's not difficult necessarily to dodge. It's just that when you combine that there's all this damage that I now have to think about and avoid, with the fact that half of the fight he's barely on the fucking screen, unavoidable, it's just that's the frustrating part.
The fucking Bell Beast, did you also have trouble with that fight?
I don't think I had as much trouble as you're imagining. I think I was able to do it in 2.
I died 20 times to that guy.
I don't even remember the fight, to be honest.
See, I don't consider myself an incredibly skilled gamer. I play difficult games. I love difficult games. I play fucking Ghosts and Goblins, which is harder than any of the games we've talked about so far. But Ghosts and Goblins is short.
Sure.
And a game like Silksong, I kind of am anticipating that I might never finish it. And it's because it's that awful combination of being insanely hard and also insanely big. And it's knowing that I'm going to continually hit walls for over and over and over again. That this game, that if I were not having any difficulties, would still take me, at least several dozen hours to beat.
Yeah.
But now I'm adding, another dozen hours on every single boss fight.
I think there are certain things that will improve your ability to beat bosses and stuff a lot.
Well, a lot of commenters are saying you need to use the tools. You need to actually practice with the
You
tools.
do need to use
you
the
need
tools.
to use the tools.
Well, the problem with that is that the first tool you get is a little dagger, and that thing fucking sucks ass.
The problem I had with Hollow Knight bosses is that I just refuse to use the spells. Like almost all the time, I'm like anything that would like any of those big blasts, any of the shoots, any of the dive bombs, that giant aerial blast.
Yeah.
I would do all the bosses with just my sword. Kind of like how I played Dark Souls too. I'm like I don't want to do a spellcaster character. I'm playing my sword fighter guy. And Hollow Knight's not that like that. It's meant to be you're supposed to use your whole moveset.
You are intended to use everything.
They also just didn't really occur to me. And also when you do those, you can't heal. And I was very very focused on making sure I was getting my healing gun.
Well, that's why they have tools now. Tools you can heal with and without. That's kind of what's cool about them is that they don't require, silk. Also, that's what the other currency was for. I didn't recognize last week. It is so that you can replenish your tools at the benches.
Oh, good to know. I was very annoyed because I reached the cap on. They're called shards.
Yes.
I reached the cap on shards at 400 where I'm at. I'm sure you can expand the cap later on. But I'm still finding shards all over the place. And I'm like, stop giving me shards. I need rosary beads. Rosary beads are what everyone is using to buy it. I need it for my map upgrades. I need it to buy benches. Like, I have been short on rosary beads this entire time, and I keep on dying and losing them.
The general consensus is that if the enemy you're fighting is like an animal type enemy where it's not really like present, that will give you shards only. But if it's like one of the peasants or like a humanoid
The pilgrims specifically have the prayer beads, which
the
I thought was
pilgrims,
very
there's
clever.
a couple of other options, but
Well, I noticed they were the first enemies to drop them.
yes. But if you fight those, they will drop rosaries.
The voice acting in Silksong. Have you noticed that it is really good?
Yes, obviously. How do you feel about I can't remember her name, Shalaka?
The map lady?
Yeah.
I love her.
I thought you would.
That's kind of what I mean, is like, I love the map guy from the original Hollow Knight, and
Yep.
I'd be sad if he didn't like come back for this one, but they created a new character, and it's a wildly different character.
Totally different.
Like, she's actually kind of like a combination of Hornet and Quill from the first game,
Yeah.
but she's also the map person, and also she sings.
She sings.
And whoever does the voice acting for her is incredible, is an incredible singer.
And they have to sing nonsense.
Well, I don't know if it's nonsense, because at this point I'm like, did they make a conlang for this game? Is there a secret Hollow Knight conlang that they fucking made? Because there is a weird consistency to their fucking babble.
There is. I'm almost certain there is.
You think there's a fake
I'm
language?
almost certain.
Oh my god. I mean, that would explain why it took 7 years to make.
Yes.
Well, that and all the incredible quality on display.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
I can't get over how good it feels, how big the game is clearly going to be. Obviously, I do not know the extent, but
I
you've
sure
already
do.
seen way more than I have.
I'm
And
looking at it right now.
What, a map?
Yeah, I'm looking at my map on my game.
Give me a little peek. I just want to have a peek at that map.
Okay.
Oh, what the fuck? That was as big as the original Hollow Knight.
I think it's actually bigger.
Well, from what I saw, I'm like, okay, that's at least as big as Hollow Knight 1's map. And I'm assuming, how far do you feel like you're in the game?
Pretty far. I'm probably nearing the end. I mean,
Okay.
Actually, no. I can tell you with confidence. There's three things I'm looking at on the map. I am close to the third act because there's first act obviously, and there's a second act. I got to the second act. Spoiler warning. That's when you get to the Citadel. I mean, it's probably what you guessed, but
Yeah, my brother Nick has been texting me about it. He texted me as soon as he beat the first act. He's like, I just beat the first act, and I really want to talk about this. Have you gotten the game yet? And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the game today.
okay.
And then I texted him, like, you can dolphin jump, dude. You can dolphin jump, dive kick.
There's I really want to talk about the thing I told you about.
What?
I can't. We did no spoilers in this area. I don't know if it's much of a spoiler at this stage, but there's a specific thing I told you about when we went to movie night that I talked to you about, then walked away, and I wanted to talk about it more.
It's that's the problem with spoiler stuff.
I don't want to spoil that because I feel like if you haven't played it all and you've been ignoring it, that's gonna be a really dope thing to find. But yeah, that's exciting. I am excited to keep playing. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to beat the boss I'm currently on because he's a fucking annoying asshole.
Yeah, I have struggled with every boss except for the first one. First one was super easy, but every boss I fought, because the Bell Beast was the second boss I fought,
I'm pretty sure.
and that Barbarian Ant was the third one, and he was a weird one. He didn't feel like a full
He's
boss.
not actually a boss, technically. That's one of the things I was mentioning. He's a mini boss. Like, he's definitely a mini boss, but he's not technically a boss. He's fun. He's so fun. A lot of the things. Have you dealt with arenas a lot yet?
I did one arena in the Hunter's Nest, and I beat it on my first or second try. I think I beat on my first try, but also it had me seriously on edge because every single wave left me with like one hit point, and I have to heal, and I'm not healed to full, but the enemies are already on top of me.
The arenas always, every time I'm doing an arena, it feels so much more oppressive than a boss fight to me every time.
Because if you have to change directions.
Yes.
And that dive kick is really hard to change directions on.
Yeah.
Because so the platforming presentation matters. I don't know, like, just having your character do a little flip makes such a massive fucking difference to the game feel in a platformer.
I don't know what I can't remember what it was called, but there's like the rule of cool kind of thing, where like you can make a video game and it can be like a platformer and all that stuff, but if your video game has an animation that's totally unnecessary of you like going up a fucking cliff when you do a cliff thing, as opposed to just like it happening, the amount of change that makes is not fair, but intense.
The difference between like the Hollow Knight, he's got this very stiff, straight standing jump. It's quick, it's nice, it feels good, but at the same time, it's not as impressive.
No,
compared to just the simple thing of so they have a ledge grab now.
Yeah.
In Silksong, Alex, if you're listening, they have a ledge grab, like in Metroid, but not like in Metroid because it's not a ledge hang. She immediately jumps up onto the edge. But you also have a brief second to press the jump button, and when you do, she does a really cool flip through the air to jump onto the platform. So you can chain ledge grabs from platform to platform without ever actually stepping onto the platform in order to save time and in order to optimize your movement. I'm getting into platforming speedrun shit right there. And every time she does this really cool flip that's really fast. When you do a dolphin kick, when you do a dive kick off of someone and you do a repositioning jump, that's a really slow animation where you've got hang time, and that's so that you can reposition and like re-attack. But things are coming at you so fucking fast.
Yeah.
It's that direction changing problem where I'm like, I just need to press down again to do another dive kick, but I need to do a dive kick to the left, and I need to make sure I don't go too far to the left before I do my dive kick, or else I'm going to overshoot my target.
I've always had the issue with even in Hollow Knight 1 where if I going down, what's going to happen if I go down is I'll put it down and then I'll accidentally like put it a millimeter over. And then if I put it a millimeter over, I'm now doing a left attack or a right attack, and I just want to die every time. It happens so often, and it happens a lot in this game too, because going down is difficult, and they have a lot more downward-based puzzles.
I've noticed that, yeah. Like, multiple times I've gotten the on-screen prompt, hey, by the way, remember to look down. You can look ahead, so you can see where you're landing. Because at least 3 times I have dropped down a massive pit, and I've had to climb all the way back up. At least 3 times.
Yeah, that first one.
And it is, well, the first one, I did that. I actually did that while I was backtracking through the area. I'm like, I wonder if there's anything I missed in that, like, first tutorial segment. Oh, I just fell down this long hole. I'm literally right back at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Well, shit. And then, like, twice so far in the Marrow, I've done it as well. And it's really frustrating, because then you have to climb all the way back up, and that's even worse than dying.
I also love that, like, as you progress, you'll unlock more movement abilities. I won't give you much detail as to what they are.
I'm a little afraid of them unlocking too much, because when you get too technical, it just becomes like a problem people have with Street Fighter 6 is that there's like so many different correct responses to the things that can happen, and like that's the same thing with platforming. There's like you need to know the correct thing. You don't want to when we were just playing at the beginning as a gimmick, I actually was stuck on a little jumping segment because I kept on dashing and then dashing off the platform before I could jump, and I'm like, oh no, in order to get the jump distance I need without dashing off the platform, I need to jump off and then hit the dash to do that aerial dash, and that will give me the horizontal movement. And it's like, I don't want to have to think that much when I am platforming. I want it to flow. I want it to, like, you know, I want to get into a rhythm where I just get through a segment on the first try and I feel like a god, and then I die and I realize that every time I retry that segment, it's actually super hard.
I would argue, my experience is that it doesn't get overwhelming. What happens is that you get to a point where that flow state becomes more flowable, and a lot of like paths open up in your mind that you didn't think about the last time you went through this area. I don't think it's going to be too much. There's a point where you get a specific ability where I'm like, I don't like that as much, but it's less because it's more just because using it unintentionally is disruptive, but using it regularly with intention is totally fine. But you can use it unintentionally quite a lot. Not going into depth, but that's my 2 cents on that point.
How much time do we have left? You still have stuff to talk about, don't we?
Oh, I wanted to, yeah. We actually we can end at 12:30.
Okay.
For you and me.
Sorry, listeners, we're gonna cut the Silksong discussion. I'm sure there's going to be more talk of it next week, but we're gonna try to reduce it as our main topic.
Likely might beat it next week, possibly. I don't know. Who knows to say? But I wanted to tell you about Rhett and Link. So you know of Rhett and Link, I presume.
I am not familiar. That does not.
Are you actually serious?
I am 100% serious. You want to like bring up a thing on YouTube real quick?
Yeah, sure. I can bring up their stuff on YouTube. I am very surprised that do you just not know them at all, or you've never heard of them?
Who are they?
They are the guys who did, Chuck Testa? You remember Chuck back in the day?
Yeah, I remember Chuck Testa.
They're the guys who made that commercial.
Wait, they made the commercial? I thought that was Chuck Testa's local commercial.
It was
the taxidermy thing, right?
Yeah, they made that is his local commercial, but these two made it. You don't know Good Mythical Morning?
No. No, I don't know this.
Dude,
20 million subscribers.
That is mind blowing.
Well, what kind of stuff do they make?
Oops. Sorry. Oops. Oh my god. So this is their main channel that they do all of their stuff on. This is just basically them trying foods and then being funny, usually. That's the general consensus.
Fair enough.
They do weird and wacky stuff on here. I have grown to really enjoy them because I have lunch every day. I have a half-hour lunch, and what I do is I put their video on for that day, and I eat my lunch while I watch them eat something else.
That's really funny. That's the funniest thing.
They're really funny two guys. They're also old and in their 40s. But what they made that I wanted to tell you about is not GMM. It's Wonderhole. So,
Wonderhole is a name?
Yes. So, god dang it.
Write like a pro. Download Grammarly today.
So this
episode is not sponsored by Grammarly.
We're also not sponsored by Rhett and Link's Wonderhole. I just really like it, and I want to tell Ben about it. So this is their second thing they do. They do GMM. That's how they make all their money. Their original channel, which I think at one point had the Chuck Testa stuff. Also, historically, back in the day, what they started on YouTube and like the internet was making local commercials. They made a buttload of local commercials where they go to like Montana and they'd find a really small local business and make them a commercial, and they would become super viral. The Chuck Testa one is the most viral one of all of them.
I love this.
Yeah. What these are the weird experimental stuff they'll do that's really odd. Like this one in particular, The Quest for the Brown Diamond, they play two different characters than they normally would, and they go into some random rich guy's house who died in their like local area and try to find a diamond and steal it.
Like, did they plant the diamond? Was it hidden?
No.
Was there actually a diamond that was
There was a diamond, but they had to like go in there and take it and to go figure out how to find the way in.
Did they actually break into this guy's house?
Yeah. Well, it's not like a legitimate thing. They're playing characters.
Okay.
This is a skit, effectively.
Oh, okay.
This one's more like what you're thinking of, though. We got a chicken to cross the road, the busiest road in America. They got a chicken to cross the road.
No chickens were harmed in the making of the video?
No.
Wow.
Let's see.
They went to extremes to drink a cloud.
Yes, they did. It did. That one is actually arguably one of the worst episodes.
We chopped down a tree with a peanut butter axe.
This is a really specific one. I'm glad you pointed out. This one is interesting because I did the thing again. They do in fact chop down a tree with a peanut butter axe.
They make an axe out of peanut butter and they use it to successfully
generally
chop
speaking.
down a tree.
But the actual reason they made that episode is not about the peanut butter axe or comedy. That's them talking about their best friend who they lost to cancer like decades prior, who's been an influence in their lives, and it's become really, really emotional and sad because they're talking about this really deep thing.
So I don't know how to put this, but like, the reason I've never heard of them is because this seems like a very, very stereotypical YouTube channel.
Well, this is. Yeah, I mean that's fine though. That's what it is effectively. They just do weird stuff.
I mean, I love that. Like, I do like that kind of content, but it's also like the most important thing is the personalities of the character of the people presenting it, because that's the kind of shit that like not necessarily Mr. Beast and the Paul brothers do, but it is kind of, they do like wacky stuff that they can put a big thumbnail.
They have a thing of like I put a guy into a box for 7 years and let's see what happens or whatever.
Yeah, this has Last to Fall Asleep wins $10,000, and I see that they're doing it to themselves. They're not doing what Mr. Beast does and tortures a bunch of desperate people who really, really need money.
The other part of this that's kind of integral to mention is that all of these are like Last to Fall Asleep wins $10,000, but there's going to be elements throughout where you can tell that it's actually kind of a skit on a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of odd how they do it. They do it in a really specific way where they're trying to. We tested one-star hotels, like for example. I'll just tell you about that episode. They go to a one-star hotel. It's a terrible experience, largely because it's a one-star hotel. And then Rhett, the taller one with the hair, he opens up a Bible thing. He sees a Bible and he starts reading it because he's like, they also used to be Christian pastors.
What?
Oh yeah, they're not pastors, youth pastors or something. But they
were Christian youth pastors who made local commercials, did the Chuck Testa commercial, and now have a YouTube channel. Okay, this is a lot of lore to go over.
I didn't want to go too deep into it, but they're going through the Bible, and it's not a Bible. It's like a different thing from like a weird cult, and he reads it. And then he leaves, and then he comes back later in the night, and Link's like, "What are you doing? Why are you wet?" And he's like, "I joined the cult." The cult is of people in this hotel who all work for this hotel, and that's the cult.
So wait, they pretend they're doing the YouTube thing, and then they transform and okay, I love this. I'm so sad I've never. Okay, well I guess I got a lot of stuff to watch.
We took the most expensive fourth-class flight. This is one of my favorites of all time because what they did is not take a flight. They got their crew to build a fake plane. And then they did like a whole fake, and then at the end of it, they crash on an island. And are on an island.
Okay.
It's super creative, fun stuff that I really wanted to tell you about because I knew you'd be into it.
Were you just telling me about the channel, or did they do a big project recently?
This is actually basically the project.
This whole channel here.
Not technically, because this is the original. Like, if you go far enough back, these are before they were doing stuff. These are literally just vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we painted the walls our skin color.
But the specific, we're going to, like, deconstruct the YouTube.
Yeah. It starts with we dug a medium-sized hole.
Medium-sized hole? Did you see Jacob Geller's video essay about digging a hole?
I did not.
Like, the weird... Giger, have you ever just dug a hole before?
Yes.
It is weirdly compelling, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, I just wanted to keep on digging this hole for the rest of my life.
You just dig it, and you're like, this is,
It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. It's like a problem. It's like a very difficult problem to solve that keeps on changing as you keep on getting further and further.
I'm assuming you've had the experience where you go to a beach, and everybody just digs a giant hole.
Yeah, that's what I used to do at the beach. I dug a hole.
I remember one time we dug a hole so deep, it was over my head. I had to climb out of it, and then we had to fill it at the end of the day.
I saw a clip on Reddit of someone who buried themselves in the sand and got fucking stuck, and the tide was coming, and there was like this big effort, like everyone on the beach trying to undig them because they were like getting crushed by the sand and they were about to fucking drown. It was scary as fuck. Be careful when you dig holes at the beach, people. Anyway.
Yeah, but 4 days ago, this is my new thing I'm really into at the moment that I wanted to share with you and the viewer.
So, a different YouTube channel that you know about, but I want to bring up on the podcast because it's a similar kind of we're deconstructing the classic thing.
Fucking God, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate that. Bobby Fingers.
I do. I know of it. It's not really my thing. I won't lie to you, but I do know of it.
I do want to like describe some of the stuff he does because it is a similar kind of like deconstruction. So this is this guy does crafts projects. Like he'll do a diorama of stuff and explain how he's making it and what he's doing. And there's lots and lots of YouTube videos that are basically this kind of thing, where it's like, hey, I recreated the castle from Howl's Moving Castle, or something like that, and they'll just have a montage of them painting stuff and explaining where they've got all the lists of bits of pieces out of the trash or whatever, whether they 3D printed it or whatever.
I've seen the one with the Mario Odyssey thing.
So beyond just like the scale of his projects and the quality of them, because he's like a professional special effects artist with like his own studio and stuff like that, so he's got a lot of really, really cool resources. He does these Hollywood stories that he tries to investigate and like find the truth about. So the first one I saw was about Steven Seagal getting choked out and shitting himself.
Yep.
There's a very famous story where Steven Seagal apparently got into a fight with a stuntman, and the stuntman fucking threw him onto the ground.
Bodied his ass.
If the story is to be believed, he then shit his pants.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
So while he is doing these models, he is investigating the story behind him and trying to find the truth. And the extent that he will go to in order to find the truth is insane. So on screen, I don't know if our viewers can see it, one of the thumbnails has Fabio getting hit by a rubber goose. Very famously, Fabio, whatever the guy's his last name is, the guy who was on a model for a bunch of old romance novels.
Yep.
He apparently got hit by a goose while riding a roller coaster.
Yeah, I've seen the video of him fly. He was like literally rolling down and it just...
So in order to investigate whether or not this actually happened, he got a hold of Adam Savage from Mythbusters, and they made a big model of Fabio, and they made a cannon to shoot rubber gooses at his face to see if people could survive getting hit by a Canadian goose at 30 miles an hour. They can't. You can't survive getting hit by a goose. He didn't get hit by the goose. Like, if you got hit by a goose at 30 miles an hour, it would literally break your skull and your eyes would just pop out of it.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, you gotta watch the video. It's very funny.
Well, I tried watching them. I'm just not really that into them, to be honest. Well, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's that dry part, because part of it is just I'm going to build this model and explain what I'm doing as I'm building the model in a way that lots of YouTube channels, like if you're into that kind of thing, you will be into this, because he does it. He does that. In the same way, if you're into those other guys, if you like that kind of content for YouTube, where it's these like challenges and contests and these like wild like we just did this kind of thing.
Well, those are more of a no, you're right. They're the same.
This guy's sense of humor is also just fucking insane. Like, he did a giant boat of Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. He's just like
there.
Picked him because he's bald and because he didn't want to have to make a lot of hair for his boat because it was going to be a giant face and like the hair is a lot of work, I guess. So he picked a bald guy. But then it got him thinking much about like baldness and how he's afraid of going bald later on in life. So he decided to permanently get ahead of his baldness by having a single hair from his ass grafted to the top of his head. So he would always have at least one hair.
Okay.
And the only place he went to Turkey because that was the only place he could find a doctor who would graft a single hair from his ass to his head.
Yep. Makes sense.
And he did it.
Doesn't he also always bury the dioramas afterward?
He always buries the diorama in a place somewhere across the globe. It's like it's happened on multiple continents. And there's hints to where you can dig it up if you want to keep it hidden in the video. But for the Jeff Bezos rowboat, he didn't bury the rowboat, so instead he buried a bunch of cash. He literally buried a bunch of cash on an island that he got to on his fucking rowboat. And then the clues for it were not hidden in the video. They were hidden in his fucking romance novel that he wrote as a companion to a video. Oh, no, I'm getting that confused as a Fabio and the Goose one.
Okay, yeah.
No, sorry. You just had to go to the island to get the treasure for the Bezos one. In order to get the model of Fabio getting hit by the goose, you need to read Bobby Fingers' romance novel that he wrote.
Yeah, he, like, regardless of if you're interested in him or not, like, I'm not as much, he's still a fascinating individual.
The high effort. It's high effort insanity.
Extremely high effort. Even in this one, which is, like, not his first video... But, like, this one was, like, his second video. The amount of effort he puts in, like, doesn't he build a giant Steven Seagal face?
Yeah, so the way he does the faces is they model a large-scale face, usually about, like 4 times the size of a regular face, but, like, a high-detailed, sculpts it in clay, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. Then they scan it and they 3D print, like, a tiny version to put on the model.
Crazy. Yeah, it's a really cool channel. I'm glad we both got to share some channels that we liked. I would be cool if you checked out Wonderhole, Ben.
I'm probably going to check out Wonderhole because I literally need something to just watch while I eat.
That's perfect. I mean, Good Mythical Morning is also pretty good to just watch while you eat. It's just like them talking.
If I get more people into Action Button, I would be so happy, but we're not going to get into that.
We'll get into it next week, maybe. Close. Okay. Well, I think it's right about time to wrap up. I don't got much more to say on the everything. We might go into when we talk about. We're probably gonna talk about Silksong again next week. We might go into more in-depth spoiler talk because you'll have gotten further in and you'll be like, I want to talk about this stuff.
Hopefully, I just want time to play.
Yeah.
The big problem so originally I was planning on beating Metroid Prime 2 before starting Silksong, and I gave up on that. I also didn't finish the PowerPoint, though I have been working on it consistently because just low time, low energy. You work an 8-hour shift, and then, your commutes to those shifts, those take place during your recreation time. When you got to do grocery shopping and cooking for yourself, that takes place during your recreation time,
Yeah.
You want to hang out with a friend, well, you can't go play the video game then because you're hanging out with your friend,
Yeah, bro, I work 10s. The only good thing about 10s is you get 3 days off.
Yeah, my days off are, crammed up with stuff most of the time.
We're complaining about stuff that,
I
our
got this
viewers
fucking
don't.
podcast that I got to fucking record every single week, and it's this huge fucking burden.
We're talking about stuff that our viewers don't care about.
Literally, I do stuff during the week just for this podcast. I watched this Nintendo Direct literally just so I'd have something to talk about because I knew I was going to finish my PowerPoint and I knew I was going to do my thing.
We could have just talked about Silksong for an hour, man.
I'm doing a bit.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please, if you're on Spotify, subscribe. I don't know how to do anything about Spotify, but do that. On YouTube, subscribe, click the bell, like the video, make a comment. And yeah. Ben, any thumbs off?
No.
All right. Well, bye-bye, guys.
Bye, listeners.